What is up, everybody? How are you doing? This is Marsh Makes Comics. Marshall Lee of Donkey Jaw Projects.com. I should shed some light on the subject. And guess what? We have been, us people in this world, no matter what you do, if you make comics, you make art, you make underwater basket weaving, if you, you know, are a garbage man, if you are a garbage woman, if you are a tax consultant, if you're a lawyer, I don't know. We are created to be creative, right? I believe we're created to be creative. I think you can be creative in business. I think you could be creative in all kinds of things. You could do all kinds of things, and creativity will make all those things extra awesome. Today, we are going to talk about creativity, of course, because that's what we always do, right? We always talk about creativity in some one way or another. But today, we're going to talk about style. We'll talk about style. We'll talk about whatever comes up, but I think we're going to talk about style a little bit. And I'm not really prepared, but whatever. I'm throwing a show together anyway because it's fun and the show must go on. It's 6 o'clock. It's 6:05. I'm a little bit late, and we're gonna still do it. We're still gonna have lots of fun. We may even have some special guests because I feel in the mood to include. So let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. We're gonna have a fun show today and enjoy each other's friendship. Isn't that nice and light and fluffy? Look at this. I got pink Post-its. So, yeah. Anyways, let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. Let's flip the camera to the other side of the tracks, whatever that means. So, let's see. How do we do that? How do we do that? That's not how we do it. Let's see. Here we go. Bam. All right. See, I'm doing the Dede. Bam. I just grabbed a whole bunch of things because why not show whatever? It's all fun. So I got a stack of things to show. This is Battle Angel Alita, but we're going to get to that in a second. But what is up, Frank? Frank, howdy, man card aficionados. Yes, we got man cards here. I have not sent out my giveaways. They will be sent out tomorrow, though. I have not sent that out. I have not sent this out yet for Dede, but that will be sent out tomorrow. Everything's good. Well, I don't know. I haven't checked to see if Dede sent me the address he wants me to send this to yet. Dede, if you haven't, get on it. And I will send it tomorrow if it's in time. But this is the comic we made on the last show. I've been busy. I've been a little distracted the last couple days, so sorry, guys. This is going to be an impromptu, but also a very awesome show. So, yeah, we're going to do it. What else we got? Oh, look, Marsh is here. What up, party people? Yeah. Gladman Comics is in the house. Thank you for coming by. Dede Willingham is in the house. Got a great pack of art in the mail today. Oh, yeah. Did you open it? Did you sneak a peek? Or are you going to open it on stream? I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be fun either way. Let's see. Sent the address and want to know if I can post the pack of art you sent me. You can do whatever you want. You can show it, and I would love for you to show it if that's what you mean. Post it. But yeah, do whatever you want. Dede, live your life. So, as people kind of come in and hang out, we got 8 eyeballs on the screens apparently, which means 16. Nope, we got 10. Now we got 20 eyeballs. Let's count the eyeballs, people. No, but like in the corner of the screen when it shows like views, it has like a little eyeball picture. If you've never been behind the curtain, if you've never been behind the curtain, then that's what live, like what StreamYard looks like. So yeah. Osman Perez, what is up? Got a cool icon there. Thank you for coming by. I know that I got some emails and things from people. I haven't responded. Like I said, I've been a little distracted. I just been busy. I got things going on a little bit, so I'm happy about that. What else? What else? Oh, I had somebody commission me. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a little tale of woe, and a little tale of um, I don't know, something. But basically, I got this person trying to commission me through Instagram. They messaged me. I have no clue who this person is. And this was a few weeks back. So they messaged me and they're like, I want to commission you. I'm like, okay, cool. What do you want? I want you to draw my dog. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see the pictures of the dog. Cute dog pictures. I'm like, oh, I kind of want to draw that dog. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Quoted them a price. They're like, okay, I want two. I'm like, crap, I should have quoted them higher. But I was like, all right, I'll do two. So then it's time to figure out the payment method. Oh, well, I sent them an invoice through PayPal. That's how I first started. And then they're like, oh, can we do it this way or that way? And then they're like, I have something wrong with my bank. So they said I have to send you like $800 and you send me the rest back and like this. And I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't know what's going on, but that's weird. I just don't feel comfortable with that. I'm not taking somebody's money and then giving it back to them like that. I'm like, is this a scam or something? Is my leg being pulled? And so I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable. So, didn't hear from him for about a week. And then I heard from somebody else, recently, and they're like, kind of the same thing. They're like, oh, my daughter really wants, some cool art from you or whatever. And went through the whole same thing. The dog pictures they sent me were the same dog. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe their parent knows better how to do the money thing, so they're trying to help their daughter out. All right, let's go down this process again. And then they're like, oh, okay, so I have a problem with my bank. I can only use e-check. I'm like, e-check? What the heck is e-check? So I Google it, and I also Google scams with e-check because I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, so yeah, there is a thing where people can scam you through e-check, and I don't know how it works, but like my first instinct was, I was like, well, I'll just see. I'll fine, I'll do it, but like I'll see if I'm only gonna start working on it when it clears. And then I was just like, you know what? No, I'm not even gonna do that. And I just responded with, I only take PayPal, you know. And because I trust PayPal, I don't trust e-check. So I don't know how what's going on. I feel like that's probably not legit, and it is what it is. I'm not gonna just beg. I don't need the money. I mean, yes, I want to make money and make a career out of all this stuff, but the only reason I'm kind of saying this is like, if you ever get a commission, just don't just go for it just because they're going to send you some money. Like, if something seems fishy, it's probably fishy. I don't know if this is fishy, but it's fishy enough for me, and I don't like seafood. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. um Posted on IG. Cool. All right, I'll check my IG tonight when I'm packaging these things up after the show. That's what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm going to be going to sleep slash probably, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go to sleep at some point. Tomorrow's Friday. It's Friday. That's pretty cool, right? It's Friday. Let's do it. All right. What else do we got? Oh, Barack, what's up? Thanks for coming by. I've never been called Peepa before. Party people. I don't know. I actually started out when I wrote that. I was like, party, how do you spell party people? You have to do like a bunch of U's. And I'm like, that doesn't look right. So I went with the A instead of the U. I don't know. Evening, everyone. Yes. Hello, everyone. OMG, scammer, right? That's what I'm thinking. I didn't do it, Dede. Thank you for that thought, because I think you're right. Sounds like a scam to me. Yep, I think you're right. What is up, Peter? That's a common scam. Their check bounces and you send their change back. Yeah, it's okay. So I'm glad I smelled the fish and didn't go for the bait. I don't know if that metaphor works, but yeah. What's up, Peter? Thanks for hanging out. Now you have 2 dog pictures. I didn't do it. I didn't draw it yet. But it was a cute dog. I wonder if I'll get a third one with the same dog. I'm collecting the same dog pictures over again. I wonder if I Google cute dog picture, if that's the one that will come up. I only take PayPal too. All right, cool. That was a good line then. Gary Hodges, what's up? Afternoon, all. Gary, I think today I'm more in the mood to do like some, hey guys, come on show and chat with me thing. So if you're interested, I will send a link at some point. Not yet, because I'm gonna go through these books and stuff, and then if you're interested, I'll send you a link somewhere somehow, and it'll be fun. And Peter, if you'd like to come on, I'd be happy to have you on. I mean, Dede, I know you're probably kind of chilling, doing your thing, but you're always welcome, Dede, to come on. So, let's see. In reality, the dog is the scammer. That is probably the most real of the real, for sure. Osman Perez, I love your work. Oh, really? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I got a comment recently, and I'll read it. This is what we're going to talk about a little bit later. We're going to talk about style. So, let's see if I can find the comment. I should have been more prepared and posted a picture of it and blah blah blah. And I will do that more often, once in a while. But today I wasn't prepared. I just wasn't prepared. I gotta catch up on comments too here. Well, I had one. Let's see. I do have. I wonder if that person deleted their comment. Or you know what happened? I probably responded to it. Once you respond to it, it goes away in your feed. So yeah. What video was it on? That's the question. It was a few videos ago, so I'm gonna see if I can find that real quick, and if not, then it kind of doesn't matter. I would like to shout out the person, but either way, I know what the question was, so it's not that big of a deal. Comments. Oh, I don't know. Oh wait, I haven't responded. Published. I think I could take that off, and then it'll come up. Let's see if that. Oh, there it is. I see it by Uncanny Master. So if you're watching Uncanny Master, this is going to be the video in which I answer your question. So the question is, and I'm not answering it yet, but we'll put the preview out there, and then we'll talk about stuff as we go. The question from Uncanny Master. In fact, I guess I could show you. Wait, am I supposed to show everybody's comments? Oh, I got a cool comment from Nathaniel Ebo saying, "You made a comic. Big whoop. Thumbs down." So that was nice. Once in a while, you get a nasty comment. Anyways, so I'm not going to show it. I actually have a question that you could do a video on. So you have two favorite artists, right? Or one. So my question is, how do you like a hybrid technique, like half of one artist comic style and another artist comic style, and then merging them? Because I actually want to do that. And apparently I did reply. So cool. Um, and it's an interesting question. It is an interesting question. So we will attempt to give that our best shot. Because to be honest, the actual specific question that he's asking, um, it's not that. I don't know that there's a specific technique for it. I'm sure there is. But once again, I showed you guys my shirt earlier. Created to be creative. Be creative. I bet you could find some techniques. So, like, man, I'm starting to get into the question now. But I'll just say this one point. So I came up with the 1 hour comic challenge. I came up with the Level Up Sketchbook. And within the Level Up Sketchbook videos that I've done, which haven't been many, but there could be many, I just haven't done them yet. I came up with a few like cool exercises to get better at certain specific things. And what makes me any better than the next person to make these kind of things up, to make up a challenge? I've made up other challenges. I created She-Sember, which I don't really do anymore, but I did create that. And for a few years, many people, just like Inktober, followed She-Sember and did some cool drawings of women, and I even opened it up to call it He-Sember. So you could also do men. If you need more practice doing men, do men, And who knows? Maybe I could do that again this year. We'll see. I don't know. I kind of got tired of it. But the only reason why these challenges exist is because somebody created them. Think about it. Think about how you could merge two styles and then create some exercises for yourself, and I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, just do it yourself, dude. Like, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying, like, when in doubt, if you have like a very specific thing like that, just don't underestimate your own ability to be creative, because I bet you can figure it out. And again, I'm not trying to say just figure it out, man. I'm saying, like, I'll try to come up with some suggestions, but we can all do this. Like, I'm not a genius. If I want to figure out how to do something, it's figure outable. If somebody else has done it, I can probably do it, unless it's rocket science or, brain surgery. Then I probably need somebody to teach me to do that. I don't think I'll be doing either of those two things anytime soon. So, Gary says, alas, I'm at my day job, so can't, but soon. Cool. Yeah, no problem. I don't know if that means soon tonight or soon another time. Either way, that's fine. I know I did say I'd hit you up and we can like organize a time and all that, which we can, but I haven't been super diligent to hit people up and do such things these days lately. So, but in time, things like that shall come. But I appreciate your willingness. I'm getting denied by everybody. Dede denied me. Gary denied me. Thanks another time. No problem. No problem. You weren't prepared. We can set up a time too, Dede, or however we want to do it. No biggie. Gladman Comics. The dog is the scammer would be a hilarious one-page comic. Yes. Yes, it would. I think you're right. Joshua. Hey, just tuning in right now whilst working on roughs. Awesome. Josh, if you want to come on, we can make that happen. Just let me know. It's not going to be just yet, but you're more than welcome. We're going to do a possibly, like I said, I'm in the mood to include. So we may get into having somebody on the show at some point, because why not? People are talking to each other. Crossed the streams. Uh-oh. I think the whole YouTube and internet might blow up. Dede says that was a good one. Yes, yes, yes. All right. I wish I had like a cool signature laugh like Dede does. I like making her laugh. Sometimes all I do is make jokes in her stream and distract her. I'll say, "Hey, I like," sometimes I do the jokes, but then sometimes I just suggest or I ask a question and I forget how distractible Dede is. And I didn't mean like Dede, like I didn't mean to like make you like get up and go get something and show it and this and that, but hey, that's what you do. So that's cool. It's fun. But sometimes I'm like, crap, I just derailed the show. I derailed Dede. Oh man. Why do you think I started saying don't email me to the hater? Yes, don't email me. Totally. Maybe I do have a laugh. I need a new laugh style. I can almost guarantee you they have never made a video. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you're right. You still have that level up sketchbooks? Yeah, I mean, I started it a long time, it was 3, 4 years ago. I kind of started it. That actually, the level up sketchbook that I started for that video turned into a journal where I screamed and yelled and cried to just to the journal, about my life after my divorce. It turned into that. So, it's no longer showable. Sometimes you need to get it out, and a journal is not a bad way to do it. Gary says, I'm sure I'll catch you at some point. Absolutely. Sounds awesome. I can't wait. Joshua, no worries, Gary. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Let's see. What else? Oops, I didn't mean to post this. Let's see. I never mind the rabbit trails. That's awesome. They're fun, right? I mean, where would Alice be if she didn't follow a rabbit trail? Um, and where would we be? We'd be Alice in Wonderlandless. So come on, rabbit trails, man. All right, so speaking about style, I kind of thinking about style. I'm like, all right, I'll pull out some mini comics and just some random stuff on the shelf, things that I like the style of. You guys may have seen the Battle Angel Alita movie that came out a few years ago. I don't know about y'all, but I freaking loved it. I've been a Battle Angel Alita fan since I was, a kid, high school. When I was reading Image Comics, I was checking out this too. And I don't know, I freaking love this. Was like the manga that got me to be like, oh, manga is cool, isn't it? Not this particular book necessarily. I have a bunch of like comic book, the typical comic book format issues of Battle Angel Alita. And that's the first ones. And I think I got it. I bought somebody's comic book collection when I was younger who decided he wanted to skateboard and not draw and and read comics anymore, I guess. So I just bought his collection for like $50. It was a whole long box for $50. For me, I thought I got like one gold, that was like, I was like, what? This is so cool. And some of those Alita books were in there. And that's when I got hooked. And I just think I love the style of this stuff. Like Alita Battle Angel is the freaking bee's knees. This isn't my favorite, story, but this one's cool. Like I do like the vibe because they're like hanging out on the top of like this, locomotive type train thing. Like here's the vibe, and they're just sitting there playing the harmonica, just chilling, chuka chuka chuka, all that kind of fun stuff. And things happen. So my favorite ones though, I like the ones with the the action. I don't know, like this I'm looking at this and I'm like, crap, I want to draw Alita now. Not that I'm any well, I have drawn Alita. I had a couple good drawings actually. And I did a print too for that at one point. So, and it was really cool. Apparently, this is where I stopped reading at one point. So, yeah, I don't know. Alita Battle Angel, freaking awesome. Shark Knife. This is the second one. This is the first one. So, again, we're talking about style. Like, that's a great manga style that I love. I'm sure it's influenced me, and that was like the first one where I was like, I think I kind of like some of this manga stuff. And then this is Shark Knife, Corey Lewis, one of my favorite creators. Um, he does a bunch of stuff. You know what I should have done? I should grab his other thing that is Sun Bakery. I think I've shown you guys that recently, so I'm not. I'll hold off on that. Maybe one day I'll do like a dedicated video or thing on that. So, but anyways, this is one of his things. Sun Bakery is like his own like kind of anthology where he just kind of created a bunch of stuff and made comics of it, and I love it. It's super inspirational, kind of similar in the similar way that Christopher Runtsman's one-page extravagant comic extravaganza one is also inspirational to me. Just that whole like just make a bunch of different cool stories type of thing. So, anyways, this is Shark Knife, and it's just his like I think it's just him trying to do a really cool action-packed manga comic, and it takes place in like a restaurant, and demons come out, and Shark Knife defends the people in the restaurant, and it's quirky like many manga are, and it's got like talk about hybrid of style. Like Corey Lewis does that kind of thing a lot. Like he's always playing around with style, but I can tell his style as well. And his style is definitely very influenced by manga, but it's also just got his own cartooniness that is sometimes more American, more of an American type of style. It's kind of that mixed with manga, and it's freaking awesome. I freaking love this so much. I also did a cool drawing um, that I don't think I printed. I think I meant to print it of Shark Knife at one point. Oh, bam, Shark Knife, stage first. You could tell that he did the stage first part with one of these bad boys. Like, because I know what it looks like on black paper. It looks like this. That's awesome. Anyways, um, it's just action packed. It's fun. It's goofy. It's not a great story, but it's great to look at. Like, you know, like most of the comics that are my favorite. Look at the action and energy. It's it's awesome. Like, I can't get enough of this. Like, look at this stuff. So cool. So yeah, that's Shark Knife. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but I love it. I freaking love it. I'm looking at this. I want to make my own. I want to make something like that myself. Here's some more Shark Knife. The second one, it's a lot more of that kind of stuff. And it's fun and awesome. So, Shark Knife. Frank Miller, another guy who's a style guy. Like he's done like you could tell Frank Miller, Sin City. Hopefully there's not, I'm sure there is actually some stuff in here. So I might have to be selective of the pages, but, this particular one came with the DVD set thing a long time ago. So it's compact. It's easy to look at. So it's the only one I have. I used to have the individual issues. I don't know what happened to them. But Sin City is one of the comics that I actually do think is good story and storytelling and stuff like that, and also cool art at the same time. And this style that he draws in, this isn't actually exactly Frank Miller's style. I forget who it is, but there's another guy who was like in I think in like heavy metal magazines and stuff. Who did a style, and if you ever see this guy, you're like, oh, Frank Miller totally ripped this guy off for Sin City / was stealing like an artist. and I don't know what the guy's name is, I forget, but it's an awesome style. It's like it's like extreme noir or something like that. I'm gonna just kind of preview the pages. I mean, this is so cool. Like storytelling, like it's beautifully done. Like he figured that style out, and like he plays with Frank Miller, somebody who plays with style, like Ronin or whatever that Ronin comic that he did. It's different than Sin City, and that's different than like his Daredevil stuff and his Batman stuff. And I mean, it's still there's definitely like you still know it's Frank Miller, like kind of that contour line, like thin contour line that he has and in his style. Yeah, this page we won't show. This is cool. Look at this. I mean, bam. I just love it. Like, you want some inspiration real quick? Go check out some Frank Miller Sin City, man. And it's one thing I like about it too is it's like and also Shark Knife and manga is really good for this. And I know this isn't manga, but this has got that similar thing. Is like it's a quick read. Like I like the pacing of I like this kind of pacing, this quick read. Like you could sit here and read this whole book that's probably this is page 80, we're not in the middle, so it's probably like 200 pages um in a pretty quick amount of time. Like there's not a lot of words, but there's a lot of great storytelling. And it's pretty freaking cool. And was it Elijah Wood, is that his name? I forget, the guy who played Frodo. um he's like this character in the movie. How creepy was he in this movie? Like, oh my gosh. Is that his name? I don't know why I feel like I might be wrong, but I don't know what I'm talking about. And then here, like there's less darks, but it's still dynamic and interesting. Like amazing, amazing work. So, I mean, who doesn't love Sin City? Well, probably Dede might not love it because I don't know. It's kind of rough. It can get a little rough. Now, I just grabbed from my mini comic pile, but there's some other stuff that happens to be in here, and it's just random. So this is like the mini comic book bundles you know that Jason Alexander and Aaron Guzman were doing, and I got a bunch of them, and they're just kind of randomly in my mini comic box. But I mean, these are just amazing. I mean, Aaron Guzman. Now let me tell you one thing about Aaron Guzman, also known as Monkey Wrench, is this dude. He plays with perspective all the time, and I think that is perspective. Like people talk about perspective and it's hard and everything, and I think it is hard to learn and practice, and I haven't done it myself very much. I need to practice it because I want to get my Aaron Guzman on. Because it's kind of like a superpower. Once you learn how to really wield the perspective thing, it's just like it just makes everything look so cool. Like you can do some really awesome angles and views, and I don't know. I'm a fan of people who take time to play with perspective in an artful way. There's certain ways that aren't so super great, but like where it's like super gridded out and everything. So I don't even know. Is this like this looks like a Frank? No, it's not. Fly Fox. To be honest, I'm not even sure. This person's got an Otis Stein shirt, so it's got to be within kind of the community. Sorry that I don't know, but here's a mini comic that's cool. It's kind of that like Chick Tracks type of style. So that's kind of cool. I feel like this is this a no, this isn't Frank's, is it? A lot of these remind me of like some of Frank's comics, but maybe not. But yeah, this is just some cool zine mini comic things. It's Nomad Comics, so cool. I forget where I get half of I've gotten so many mini comics, and I might have bought them at like a, I don't know, at like a comic convention. Here's some more, Aaron Guzman / Jason Alexander, Fogbreaker Studios. He also goes by more of his comics. Oh, look, here's a drawing Peter did, right? Peter Seckler. Really cool werewolf drawing. And a little thank you note, which is cool. Yeah, I just have like random things. Super Procrastinator by Matthew Enstrom. He's done YouTube videos. I don't know what happened to him, where he's been, but he had some fun YouTube videos for a while. Maybe he's still doing them. I don't even know. Dave Hingley, 1 hour comic challenge. McCafferty's Cavity. I mean, come on. How awesome is this? I love it. Dave Hingley is the bomb times 10. This is something I got at like a little comic convention that was actually like almost like a mini comic convention, or it was an indie comics convention or something. But anyways, this guy, I think he had the price. Oh yeah, 25 cents. So he was selling all these same type of, like how I did Glyph, but maybe less pages, maybe, or something. And he just had tons of them, and they were all 25 cents each. And I bought tons of them, and I love the style. I love how fun these are, and they're great. And they're not much more than stick figures, but they're fun and dynamic and interesting. So yeah, really cool. The Emergent from Freeman. Freeman? I think he might have been involved in the 100 Days of Making Comics people. I don't know. I vaguely remember. But The Emergent. Writer Eric Goodell, artist Doug Freeman. Yeah, Doug Freeman. I definitely know that name. Let's see. What's this? This is just like some kind of CD thing I bought one time. I don't know much about it, but here's more of that Postal Panic, more of that same person. Let's see if we can find. His name is Brian Kirk, and this one is also 25 cents. And I'm trying to see if there's like a website if you want to check it out. I don't know, but Brian Kirk. Maybe you can see that. If you want to look them up, maybe you can find them. Moot Comics presents. Maybe you can look up Moot Comics if you're interested. But yeah, this is just some other stuff from something I ordered. There's like always this kind of swag that ends up in Ubiquitous Funnies. Again, just another one from the same dude. And I just, like I said, they were super cheap. I just picked up as many as I could, and I love them. I think they're freaking awesome, and it makes me want to make more mini comics. This is like, I know obviously this is, everybody knows what this is, but I don't know. This is like one of those things that I looked at before Wetworks came out. This was out, and this is an ash can. This is like the first thing I ever saw that's like, maybe not I don't know if it was this one particular, but like they used to have these ash cans back in the 90s and stuff. They were called ash cans. And, they would usually have like a preview, maybe some sketches or something. And I mean, Wetworks I was waiting for Wetworks. Like Image Comics came out, and my favorite creator was part of it. His name was Whilce Portacio. And, I was just waiting for his comic to come out. It was one of the later ones to come out. And then I was kind of, to be honest, I was underwhelmed. It was okay, but it was just not my cup of tea as far as story goes and stuff. But still cool. It looks cool and stuff, so there we go. Apparently this realized that was in there. So from now on, I'm looking through the things that I show. Just can't take random stuff out. So this is Cyclotron Comics, Kid Hero, Night Owl Graphics. Well, to be honest, I'm not sure what this is. I don't remember this. I do kind of remember it. I think I read this. I remember reading it, but you know, again, it's not 100% sure. But there's all these styles here, you know. Yeah, hopefully, Rocket Ship Evans says you couldn't read it, so hopefully it's not a big deal. So yeah, Cyclotron Comics, more stuff here. Yeah, I don't know. There's just like so many. Here's another one from Peter, Rabbit Fighter. I mean, this was one of the early ones, so really cool. And it's cool to have like, people's early work too. This is number 3, I guess. So yeah. This is one of my comics. I mean, you guys have probably seen my comics, but Terra and the Pterodactopus. And this was fun to make. I think I have some of these available, I don't know, on my website. I might not. I might have forgot to put these up. I think I didn't put these up. I don't know. We'll have to check into that. These ones are available. This is the second Glyph comic. I only have a few left. I'm not going to reprint any of these either. So, if you feel like it. I'm not like trying to, pimp it too much. The Adventures of Neutronstar. I remember looking at this and reading this, and yeah, another cool one. Lots of different styles. Again, there's so many like people. Doug Freeman. Okay, this is another Doug Freeman one. So cool. Glyph. This is the first when I did printing of Glyph, and the first comic I made. This is one of those first ones. And the thing that's cool about this one is it's different than the ones I print now. This one has some color in it. So you can go to my Webtoons and you can you can just read this for free. You can also buy the other version of the mini comic, but this is the first comic I ever officially finished. It's the first mini comic. It's how I got started. I mean, I tried to make comics before, but didn't know really how, and it was earlier on when I was in high school. But you can see where he painted within the fight, that would be color, and that was it. And I think I got that from Frank Miller. Again, talk about taking from other people, stealing from other styles and stuff. Like I totally got that from Frank Miller because he had yellow in some of his comics, but it was just the little spots, nothing huge, but everything else was black and white. So I kind of did a similar thing. So, this is how it was first printed. But it was more expensive to print it that way. So, my old website, plexhop.com. So this right here, this was just on Instagram. There was these guys doing like, robot drawings and stuff. And I was just like, they just had like this robot sketchbook from all the different artists on Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, dog, you can take my $5 or however much it was. All these different styles. Again, styles. See, we got a theme going. So yeah. Really cool stuff. Some of it isn't robots, but they did do some other stuff that was just robots too. Some of it's not the most amazing printing quality, but I could care less personally. Yeah, I don't know. Just some really cool stuff. Just kind of a random thing I got from Instagram. So, yeah. You never know what you'll come across. Chris McQuinlan, Sketchaholic. Chris McQuinlan is awesome. And this is just like a mini comic version of a sketchbook, an art book, which I've seen a lot. I have a bunch of those kind of things. I've seen a lot of people do it, And I'm pretty sure he did this around, early on when we were all hanging out. He kind of, I think, printed this maybe then. I don't know. Some cool zombies and stuff, just characters and whatnot. Yeah, I think I bought something from him, and then he sent me a bunch of extra stuff, and this was one of those extra stuff. So he's really good, and you can see he kind of has a cartoony style, but then sometimes he draws a little bit more representational. Um, he kind of goes back and forth with his style. There's like a range, you know. This is more realist or representational, I guess. You know, I don't know. Interesting, you know. And I've seen his style evolve, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, Chris McQuinlan, rock on. More ubiquitous comics. Oh boy. Dauntless. Shell Presto. I don't. Is this a comic? I don't think. I think this is more like a zine. Yeah, but still, hey, cool. So for those who don't know, like there is a kind of a difference between comics, like mini comics and zines. You know, zines are almost like a magazine, and it's like um, there's articles, there might be short stories, there's like one-off pictures, there may be comics in there, you know, there could be all kinds of different things. Even this, it does say Dauntless, the Heroic Adventure Zine, issue 1, Prophets of Darkness. Shell Presto, let's see. Ascension Epoch. Like if you were to look up Ascension Epoch, you could find her stuff because it's a very unique word, you know, or Dauntless, maybe, possibly. But she's a really cool artist, and her husband write stories, and um, you know, she illustrates the stories her husband writes, and they write together, and they have like not, you know, prose types of books. A lot of those. She does do some comic stuff once in a while, you know, and she's also another one of the awesome mods on um, the Discord, which is now actually her Discord because I transferred ownership over to her. But still, like the I'm really happy about the work Peter and Shell did over there. They're freaking such an encouragement and helpful to other creators, and it's really cool. What's cool too is they used Kim Holm, who I've also had on my channel, and some of his art. If you go to if you ever do like the TikTok stuff and go to look for Kim Holm or look for the hashtag Ink Monster, you'll find he's like blowing up on TikTok, and he does stuff. He talks about like mental wellness, but he also gives his art away as into the Creative Commons. So if you were to go to his website, you can actually use his art for whatever, you know, and you can even make profit off of it. Like that's he believes in that whole thing, and he's got really cool art. And I've actually used it for a single, like music, like a single cover. One time, I've used one of his pieces of art. So you know, it's just cool to have like a different type of artist involved in things you're doing. Eyes of the Gods. I have not read this yet. I want to read it. I need to put it in my pile of to read. But this is Jeremy Burlai. I've had him on my channel before. He has another comic, Morningstar, which he's I think still working on, but he's been working on forever, and he's been making huge progress. He does it issue by issue. He's just a really cool artist. But this is the book he did before Morningstar, and it's also really cool. Morningstar is like an epic. Oh, look at this technique! Like it's like fuzzy, hazy, um, but like you know, Morningstar is really cool. It's like it's kind of like if you ever watched the show Supernatural. It's not like that, but it just reminds me of that, where he's playing with like kind of biblical themes and angels and devils and demons, and it's just but it's all kind of within the genre of a like a western, you know. So it's kind of like angels and demons as a western, and it's really cool. So He's a very talented artist, talented writer. He's got some great YouTube videos. You should definitely check out Jeremy Burlai if you haven't. He's awesome. So, yeah, that's how you spell his name, Jeremy Burlai. So, yeah. This is kind of like a friend of a friend. This girl who I knew, who was a friend of somebody in my hip hop group that I'm involved with sometimes. And, I was just connected through music, sort of, but I found out she makes comics, and I'm like, yeah. And she makes like mini comics. I'm like, please, where can I send money? And I like her style. It's just, again, it's just a different style, and it's fun and kind of whimsical and sketchy, and there's a certain line to it that I'm like, yep, that's her. Whenever I see the art, I'm like, that's her stuff. It's really cool. And I should know her name. I don't know why I can't think of what her name is. It's been a while since I've kind of chatted with her. Yeah, Mags she goes by. Yeah, so I'm a horrible person for not remembering everybody's names, but there's so many creators, So I guess magsdilla.deviantart.com is where you would find her. That's the links. This one's like My Little Pony. Where's the man cards? I gotta make myself a man card. This one's actually sold. I have to send this out. Sorry for the person, you might be in the chat, but I will be sending this out tomorrow. But usually I get it out next day, but I just was busy yesterday. Sorry, I wasn't even home. So yeah, that will go. But here's the man card, because we got My Little Ponies, and I'll get back to the chat very soon here. So yeah, comic about My Little Ponies and other things. So cool stuff. This is a good friend of mine, but my copy got ruined. Michael Vlad. It got wet, which sucks. But I'm still, see, look, Marshall. That's my name. That's my real name, by the way, Marshall Kucher. I mean, my Marshall Lee is my real name too. Lee is my middle name, but shout out to me in the beginning of the book. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But I love this guy's art. He's really into like Poison Elves and stuff, and like just comics in general. He loves comics. He is a lover of comics. And, he's an awesome artist. I love his art. I want him to do more. But this is the comic he made, and I love it. And I don't know. I can't say enough of it. I love it. Can't say enough of it. And that's him. That's the dude right there. So yeah. Oh, this is that robotics club thing. So we'll go through this, and then we'll check the chat, and then we'll go through the last thing there, which you can probably see. Let's see. Yeah, just cool robot sketches and stuff. Again, from Instagram people. They just kind of collected them, and they're really cool. And these look like GI Joes, almost like the GI Joe designs. So I don't know. This is the crazy stuff you just kind of come across. Eventually, you collect so many different things, and you're like, wow, this was cool. This was cool. I'm loving it, y'all. Little Calvin and Cobbs. Somebody riffing off of that. Cool little sketch card that I didn't realize was in here. Really neat. Little xenomorph situation. So yeah. So I'm going to check the chat here, see what's going on. All right, let's see. What's up, Muttman? How you doing? Muttman is awesome. Check out anything he does, because he has Hero, the comic Hero, spelled Hiro, with his boy, that and they make that comic, and they're working on another one, which is really cool. I'm looking forward to checking out. So check out Muttman. He's been on the show as well. Just winding down my day. You? Oh yeah. Oh, she's talking to Muttman. Cool. Dan, what's up? How you doing? Um, let's see. Yes, Frodo was the weird guy in Sin City who killed her. Yes, but I was trying to think of, is that his name? Elijah Wood. I want to say it's Elijah Wood. Maybe I'm just dumb with. I am kind of dumb with names sometimes. Let's see. Michael Hing. What's up? Popping in to say hello. Hello. Thanks for hanging or coming, popping in. That looks like a chick track. It does. It's not a chick track, but it looks like one. I have like all the chick tracks because they're interesting. Some of them are good. Some of them are like, oh my gosh, really? Michael Hing, learning perspective can really help you advance. However, if you really want some fun with its possibilities, the work of MC Escher takes you to some wild places. Absolutely. It's cool. It's crazy how he plays with perspective, for sure. Evan's here. I already talked about him a tiny bit, but thank you for coming by, Evan. Hope you are doing well. I'm sure I know I have Evan's comic somewhere near here. I love Evan's work. He's very inspired by like Sergio Aragonis, another awesome style that I love and am also inspired by, and other things that he's into. So yeah. Let's see who else. What else is going on? Chris is here. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I will hang out here for a little time. It is Mexican Independence Day tomorrow, but the celebration starts officially at midnight. So I need to prepare the meal we'll have. Are you going to eat at midnight? Wow, that would be fun. I've done that, I think, before. Like Christmas, sometimes Christmas celebrations can like happen like that, right? People do like the midnight mass and stuff. And then they eat after sometimes, which is like, I don't know if I even want to eat after. I want to just go to bed and then see what Santa brought me in the next day, you know? I don't know. What do you guys think? But yeah, cool. Awesome. So nice. Thanks for popping in. Let's see. As the saying goes, great artists steal, though I would say great artists adapt. There's another take on that that my friend Fue Storm has told me, also known as Lucifer Storm. Um, and he said, great artists steal. He said, I don't know if it was him who came up with it, but he said, but if you do steal, you want to steal. You don't want to borrow. You get into trouble when you borrow. But if you steal wholesale, then that's when it works and it makes sense. So the difference is when you borrow, it's like you can still see, what the other person did. Like it looks more like plagiarism. But when you steal, you own it. You make it your own, you know just like when you steal in real life. I mean, not that I endorse stealing in real life, but you make it your own. So when you steal, you're not actually you're actually running it through the filter of your own way of doing things. um and so then it's less, I feel like a lot less like what was that big word I just used? It's less bad. I can't. I hate it's that word. I don't think of too often. So, anyways, but you should steal instead. And yeah, I don't know. I think I made the point. Happy Independence Day. Let's see what else. Sakura-san is here. What is up? Thank you for hanging out. How did you get into making comics? Me? I got into comics by reading comics. Are into making comics by reading comics. Those comics weren't the greatest stories in the world, but they were exciting to me. The Image Comics was huge influence for me. And that the thing that I loved about Image Comics and the creators who created Image Comics is they made their own characters, and they they decided to not do Marvel and DC and made their own comics. And I was like super inspired by that because when it came down to it, I didn't really want to, I wanted to be somebody who made comics, but I didn't necessarily want to draw Spider-Man, like, or, X-Men. Like, sure, it would be fun, but that's kind of not like what is exciting to me. What's exciting to me is creating your own character, creating your own world, your own story. And so once they did that, I was like, yes, I want to make comics. So that's probably the best way to describe how I got into making comics. But actually, I didn't make comic like I tried to make comics at that time. I didn't really super know what I was doing, and I didn't know how I would even ever get it printed. So I also got distracted by making hip hop music, and that kind of took over for many years. And then about 10 years ago or something, I got hooked on podcasts and specifically comic making podcasts, and even more specifically, art and story podcasts. And they had Mini Comics Dump Truck, started by Kevin Cross, where people would make a mini comic and trade it. And that comic that I just showed you right here was that mini comic that I made and traded. This is one of those from that print run. And, this was the first comic I actually finished. And I'm super happy I did because now many comics have come after. I still hope many more comics come. So that's how I got into making comics. Da, 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 da. Comics are cool too. Yes. I think not only are comics cool, but comics are cool too. I agree. How did you find your comic art style? Yeah, we'll be talking about some art style stuff pretty soon. So, I will answer that then, if I remember. I will remember because I can't not talk about that, answer that question. I can't, it's impossible for me to not answer that question when I talk about style. So that will be answered shortly. Let's see, what else? Marsh will read chat shortly. Yes, I will. /am. Thank you, Dede, for letting people know. I really appreciate that. How is everyone's day? My day is, I worked and it was pretty good for the most part. And, it was a day. What is your favorite comic from a non popular comic artist? Most of my peers' comics, my friends, a lot of the stuff I just showed you. But Sun Bakery by Corey Lewis, who I was talking about earlier, that's up there. Not a lot of people are super know about him. Even though he is well known enough to have a career. But he's not super popular. People have been talking about oh, what's his name? I think I have one of his comics right here. Brendan McCarthy. Yes, Brendan McCarthy. People have been talking about him a lot. He's done some amazing stuff, and he does all kinds of mixed media type of stuff. I've just learned about him, but I've seen his stuff throughout the years, but didn't know anything. That dude is insane. And probably a more well-known creator that is still kind of under the radar a lot of times. Not for us creators, we all know him, but for those people who are just comics fans, might not know who he is. But Sam Keith is a huge, huge influence for me. I love Sam Keith. He's one of the bigger, if not, he's not. I don't know if he could be the biggest. I really like his art a lot. What is your next comic goal? To find a new comic goal. I don't know. Like I'm working on writing some stuff, and probably one-page comics. Will kind of be what I'm doing for a little while, maybe, or short, just short comics. One of my comic goals is to get published at Alterna. Another one is, I don't know. I have like ideas I want to do. There's this idea that's almost not an idea even, called Bloodstorm, that I kind of want to do. Shadow Star I've talked about. I'd like to like put some more heart and soul into Glyph and make that into something more, I don't know. I got a lot of comic goals. My YouTube goals are kind of big as well, and I don't know. I got a lot of things I'm working on. Not, I'm sorry, it's not a very concrete answer, but um, my favorite, Rocket Ship Evans says, my favorite lesser known comic artist is is who? Chris says, yes, we have dinner a bit before midnight and then mariachi music. I was in Mexico at a restaurant one time and listened to mariachi. There's a fun fact for you. It was during we had a I was at a mission trip for my church. Um, and it was right after all my military training. And that was many years ago. That was like close to 20 years ago. So it was cool though. Fireworks and dancing. It's fun. It is fun. Tomorrow, military parade in Mexico City, broadcasted on TV for all to watch. Awesome. That's cool. That's really cool. Let's see. Deist Cartoons. Hey, Marsh, I would recommend being versatile by having multiple art styles for different types of projects instead of only settling on one style. That is one approach that some people employ. And I think that is one strategy that can be really good. And I think there's also other strategies too, and that are equally as good. I wouldn't put a value judgment on either one. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that later too. But it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to talk about, versatile, or being versatile with multiple styles. So we'll get into that a bit. Maybe Josh will come on. Maybe somebody else will come on. I don't know. Like I said, I already invited Dede and Gary and Josh. So we're probably actually Muttman. If you wanted to, you could always come on. We could talk. I'm gonna do a little chatting if anybody ends up wanting to come on. But Josh, you're more than welcome. Muttman, more than welcome. Let's see. Let's get back to where we were. Isn't stealing bad? Stealing is bad. Do not steal. But stealing like an artist, well, there's a different thing going on there. Because the thing is none of us are original. Hate to break it to you. But none of us are 100% original. We're all taking influence from probably multiple sources. Even if you try to be as original as possible, there's something that you've seen that's influenced what you're doing. You can't get away from it. At the very least, we're stealing from God. We can't draw a picture of anything if we haven't seen the actual thing that God created to draw it. He's the ultimate artist, in my opinion. Of course, again, like, I believe in God here, and so I treat what I believe in God as fact, because to me it is fact. And so that's what I say, because it's my channel. But I'm not trying to be rude about it. Like, I understand a lot of people have different faiths, so I don't harp on it or anything. But yeah, I mean, to me, God is the ultimate artist. And that's why I opened up the show with my t-shirt that says "created to be creative," which is a phrase that I would like to say that I have been the one to coin. But I don't know. I've been saying it forever, since I was pretty young, actually. I did come up with it I was original with it. But I've seen that other people say it too, and I'm like, it's not that unique anyway. Like, other people can think of that idea. It's okay. I can share. And so who knows who coined it, but it's something I like to say sometimes because I think it's true. I'm created to be creative. So let's see. What is your favorite comic and least favorites? Oh my gosh. Maybe we'll have to do a top five list. I don't know what my favorite comic is. I feel like I've answered this before, and it's always going to be probably a different answer. Um, Probably just having to do with what I've read recently. I mean, I really love Sun Bakery. I was talking about that. That's pretty cool. As far as like writing and art put together, like Sin City was great. Walking Dead is great. I don't know. I don't know. I, you know, I don't know. There's just a lot of cool comics. There's too much. I mean, one of my favorite comics is X Force #1 because that is pretty much what lit the fire, to get me excited about comics. And then Youngblood, like I love Liefeld, pretty much at this point unashamedly. There's been times in my life where I've shied away from the Liefeld love, but no more. Why do that? I like what I like. Everybody else can, you know, like what they like. So he's not necessarily my favorite, but I guess I could say he's my favorite or one of my favorite. I'm definitely like influenced by his work. Sam Keith. Huge influence would be Eric Larson. I love his work when he's done stuff for Spider-Man and Savage Dragon is amazing, especially the early stuff. Huge fan of Eric Larson as an artist. Jack Kirby. I mean, how do I say that he's not my favorite? I mean, think of some of his comics. I love OMAC. That's one of my favorite Jack Kirby comics. Um, so yeah, what are my least favorites? Anything that everybody else likes, like Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen. I haven't read Watchmen, so I can't actually say that. But I tried to read Watchmen and didn't get very far because I was like, I don't know about this. I don't really love, you know, like some of the Claremont, like later Claremont X-Men stuff. I haven't read a lot of the really early stuff either, but there's just too many words, and I'm just like, it just isn't the stuff. It doesn't draw me in and make me interested. Um, I don't know what else. I don't really want to sit here and talk about comics I don't like. I mean, I actually do like Dark Knight Returns, but um, it's uh, it's not like I wasn't blown away like other people, but I read it so far after the fact. Like I read it probably 8 years ago for the first time, so it's like I already knew. Like I mean, it had already since the 80s like destroyed, like totally changed the culture of our world. Actually, I feel like that comic and Watchmen, you know, just brought this like cynical um, breaking down of the superhero slash anything. I mean, grunge rock was kind of that kind of thing too. It was just the tide of the times, like, but like grunge rock came, in the 90s. So, I feel like things like, you know, Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen had a lot of part to play in, you know, the culture. It's kind of amazing how much it's affected the culture. And I'm not saying for bad or good. I think a lot of cool things have come from it. I do think Dark Knight Returns is cool. Um, but I read it once. I'm kind of good, Um, so yeah. Um, Watchmen, I do want to read because I want to not be ignorant about one of the most, you know, the biggest books that people are super interested in, but I don't really believe the hype and with some things, And this is again, take this with a grain of salt. This is coming from somebody who loves X-Force and Youngblood, so Consider the source. uh, let's see. Have you ever made a comic movie? I don't make movies, so no. Let's see. Do you prefer color or black and white comics? I always used to prefer color. I've grown to love black and white though. So it depends, I prefer some comics I prefer black and white. When I saw like the colors in like Hellboy are really cool, but when you see it in black and white, especially like the artist edition, like I only saw that through kayfabe, but cartoonist kayfabe. But when you see that in that way, I'm like, oh man, like that it's even cooler black and white. Like it's amazing. So some stuff is just better black and white, but some stuff is better in color. It really depends. So yeah. Nathan says, "Hello, everyone. Hello, Nathan. How you doing, sir? Thank you for coming by. You are the man. What comics you made would you turn into a movie? Oh, that's a little more specific. Any one of them? I don't know. I don't really. My desire isn't to make a movie. So, if anybody in Hollywood is listening right now and wants to option any mini comic or short story I've done, which of course they wouldn't, but if they want to, let's go. I'll take your money. Um, so that's all I'm saying about that. It would be cool to see stuff up as a movie, but I don't think I've made anything significant really enough to really garner a movie. But that's kind of a weird thing to say because it makes it sound like comics are lesser than movies, and I feel like comics are not lesser than movies. In my opinion, comics are greater than movies because I love comics, even though it's my medium of choice, as far as making. But I don't know. That's a whole other discussion that I'm starting to veer into. But I mean, Glyph would be cool as a movie, I think. What else have I made? I mean, Expando, yeah, they'd all be cool as a movie. The Hitchhiker, like I love what I've made, and I'd love to see it all as a movie. It would be fun. It's hard to say one, really, Michael Heng, comics are liberating in many ways, I think. Yes, it's daunting if you have to do everything, but if you can be your own entire but it can be your own entire vision. That's, Frank Miller is the man when it comes to doing a single vision comic, that's for sure. No execs, no boss, just you and the story you want to tell. There's something amazing about that. I agree. I agree. That's what's really cool. Like, and that's why, movies, like as much as I love movies, it's like I don't have the wherewithal and resources in which to create movies. I mean, I guess I do. I could get my iPhone and start shooting stuff and get some friends. I've done that actually. Actually, my friend did that, and I was part of it. A little bit just for fun, but it was goofy, stupid movies, that we came up with the plot right on the spot. Plot on the spot, Um, but you know, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a I love movies, but that's one of the few creative things that I've never had much of a desire to be involved with. Although it would be cool to like be like a camera guy on a set or something. That might be fun, I don't know. Or get involved in like special effects production or something. I could see me doing that, but I don't live in Hollywood, so let's see. Hope you get your comics published. I have. Look it, it's published. Bam. It's also published on Webtoons. I got lots of comics published, self-published, and published by other people's anthologies and stuff like that. I mean, I'm currently publishing a YouTube channel or a YouTube video. Like publishing is pretty easy these days, which is pretty cool. You remember, I don't know how old you are, Sakura, but I remember a time when I was younger when you could still do mini comics and publish them, but like there was just less of a potential to like get it out there because we didn't have the internet really. So you know, publishing, but I get what you mean. Like you hope it gets published maybe with like Alterna or something, or like a a publisher that could maybe move things a little further. I appreciate that. It's really nice that you say that, and I hope I do too because I think that's a fun thing as well. Something I would like to. I'd love to be published by Image Comics because of just as like to play some little part in something that I love, which was Image Comics and how it was founded and all that. So I hope I get published. Hey, I'd even do Marvel and DC if they let me do what I want for fun. Some of my favorite creators have done things for Marvel and DC, but they did it their way, just like Frank Salazar Sinatra. Just like Frank Sinatra said, I did it my way. I don't even know how that tune goes, but I don't even know if I've ever actually heard that song. I just know that he sang it. What are my YouTube goals? Oh my gosh. Um, I want to take over the world. Like Jazza, you're in my sights. Mark Crilly, watch out. No, I'm just joking. I like what I'm doing now. I like doing these live streams, and that's going to continue. Some other goals is I'd really like to get some other videos, like little drawing videos where I kind of talk over like a speed drawing. I mean, I've done that plenty of times, but I want to do more of that. Um, you know, I just love YouTube. I have fun with YouTube, and I have like I'd like to do like videos. Like Ten Hun is one of my favorite YouTubers, and I'd love to do videos like him. But man, the time it must take to edit those videos and make them look so cool like he does, and he like makes music for them, and like I don't know how long it must take him forever, but he does it for a living, and I'd love to do that, but again, I don't have the wherewithal. I don't have the patience to edit like he does. I've tried and I've done some cool things, but and I may still, experiment in that, but there's no way I'm doing a weekly video like that. That's just it's too much. I've tried and I can't be consistent that way. I can, however, be consistent with doing live streams, and I'm really enjoying connecting with you people in live stream. So I really appreciate all the questions, Sakura Song, because um, that's what this is all about: hanging out, chatting, doing some art. We'll do some art later. I don't really have a specific thing I want to draw, but we'll see. In fact, everybody who's in here, let me know what you want to see me draw something, or should I do some sketching? What should I do? If you have any ideas, let me know. I'll do something. We're going to do some kind of art at some point here. Let's see. Moses the artist, 12. Not Moses the artist, 11. Not Moses the artist, 13. This, my friends, is Moses the artist, 12. Thank you for coming by and hanging out. You rock, and your dog picture rocks. How hard is creating comic books? Oh, let me tell you. Pretty hard, but also pretty easy. I mean, this was my first comic, and like it didn't take me a crazy amount of time. I flubbed all the perspective. The backgrounds are not crazy amazing. It's not the best art I can do, but it was fun and I made it. And it took probably 3 months because I think that was the challenge. It doesn't need to take, this doesn't need to take 3 months. Now I could do the same comic. I mean, I think I could do the same comic in like a week or something. I don't know. Maybe more. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It takes so much time. Like even little comics like that can take a ton of time. Just coming up with the like writing the because you have to remember there's so much more that goes into it. You got to create the characters and do the design and then write it and then thumbnail it and then all this stuff, and it's a lot of work. But I find it fulfilling and worthwhile. So it's a lot of work, but it's work that I am kind of addicted to trying to do. I don't know why. We took us comic book artists and writers. We kind of torture ourselves with cool new projects, you know. So Sakura-san says very hard to create comics. Yeah, it can definitely be. There's a lot of tedious things. There's a lot of ability to draw that it tests. You know, there's one thing you could become like a landscape artist doing paintings. You could become, you know, an abstract artist. You could be somebody who does portraits, who focuses on, one of these things, or does different things, different kinds of art, like with paintings, which is amazing. But there's sometimes, like, if you were to go to like a fine artist class, they would, a lot of times they would talk kind of crap if you were doing comics or any kind of illustrative, like illustration type of work, because there's kind of a different mindset between fine art and illustrative art, and comics is definitely illustrative art. I think there shouldn't be any difference, but they are a little bit two different worlds when it comes to kind of the way people talk about them and think about them traditionally, I guess. And sometimes fine art teachers and people will look down on illustrative art, and I don't know. That's a whole other topic, really. That would be interesting to talk about actually at some point. But the thing is when you want to draw a comic, you have to know how to draw people. You need to know how to draw perspective. I mean, you can do it with whatever skill level you're at, but if you want to, like, as you progress, you're going to want to get better, and you have to have a sense of design. If you're going to color it, you need to know about color theory. There's just so many things that go into illustrating a comic, and then there's just the things that only comics can do that you have to kind of have an idea of. But I think, don't worry about all that. Like, be a fan of comics and then just try to make your own. That to me is the way to start and the way to go. And if you kind of approach it that way and start small, I think it's a much more approachable and less overwhelming um, prospect. So I want to take a sip. We got a little dryness going. And then, where's Rachel? I told her, you have to come and watch my video because I'm going to do some ASMR, and I'm going to do some ASMR pretty soon. So, Rachel, where are you at? I got one more sip left before it's ASMR time. Um, what else? Have you ever made manga before? Well, I mean, manga is Japanese for comics, isn't it? So yes, technically, but I know what you mean. Um, I would love. I definitely like play around with manga techniques. Probably I try to, but it's a different kind. Again, it's a kind of a different approach. But I love manga. Like, manga is so cool, and I would love my comics to have like a manga flair to them, because there's just so much energy and movement and excitement in manga comics that I love so much. So, not exactly, but maybe one day. And I also love, I'm inspired by the format of like Shonen Jump. I'm inspired by the format of, the reading from right to left instead of left to right. Um, I would actually like to make a comic for Japanese, market. And I know that's like almost an impossible thing to do well, but I'm the kind of person who kind of thinks I can do anything, so I'll at least try, maybe at some point. I even contemplated learning Japanese at one point so I could make manga comics, but I probably won't do that. But yeah, it's certainly not outside of the realm of my interests. You should make a comic ebook for Amazon. I should. I agree. Um, that is fair about originality. And sorry if I have like a funny tone sometimes when I'm answering some of these questions because I just have opinions and it's not directed actually towards you. It's particular or anybody in particular. It's just like this is my attitude towards this specific thing or something, but I don't have that big of an attitude. Stealing is bad, but drinking rules. I mean, I'd rather not dehydrate, so yeah, I think drinking does rule. Um, uh, yes, let's see. Terhiki? What's up? Thanks for coming by. I've been stuck far too long in the trying to get good enough before making my first comic trap. Oh my gosh. Preach, brother. I mean, that's why it took me until I was like how old was I? I was probably like 38 or I don't know, 30 36 when I first made my first comic and I'm like hello, Liefeld started when he was like 12 or whatever. Like some of these people started so early, and I'm kind of there's a part of me that's a little ashamed that it took so long, but you know, that trap you're talking about, that definitely held me back. It takes determination and a lot of hard work, but the thing that stops me the most is just fear. So, the antidote to that, because I have gotten over that, I've long gotten over that. The antidote, in my opinion, to that, and it's the same as finishing a sketchbook. And the antidote to that is like the antidote to finishing a sketchbook and to filling up more sketchbooks is to remember that your sketchbook is a place to store all of your worst crappy drawings. Unless your name is Nathan Rosario, then I don't know what to say. His most crappy drawings in his sketchbook is like better than my best drawings. So I don't know what to say about that. But for me, um, you know, that's where I store all my crappy drawings. And I try, if I could, the more crappy drawings I can store in the more sketchbooks, the better and less crappy my drawings will be. They'll still probably be crappy, but eventually they'll be less and less crappy till they might even approach good at some point. And kind of the same thing with comics. And that's why it's good to start small. Like, I mean, this is like what this channel is about. You want to make your first comic? Start small. Make a mini comic. Make a one-page comic. Make do some anthology work where you just do like, 2, 3, 4, 8-page comics. That's what I've done. They're not none of them are, Dark Knight Returns, but I made them. And, so finishing a comic, just finish one. And you don't even have to publish it, but I like to publish it. I like to publish all my crappy work. Um, but finish a comic and just the act of finishing a comic, like you don't actually know how to make comics until you've finished one, and you can finish one. I created a challenge on my channel called the 1 hour comic challenge. You can t- Turhiki, an hour from now, you can have your first comic done and in the bag. It might be the worst comic that's ever been made. My 1 hour comics are not good. Um, but you can at least say, hey, I made a comic. There's sequentials, there's words, there's characters. It goes flips like a book. Like it's possible. I've done it. Many other people have done it. Make a mini comic. Take a week to make a mini comic or a month, or whatever, however long it takes. Just make it and just be determined to finish it. It's also good to do it with a group. Like if there's like a mini comic thing where everybody does a mini comic and then they send them to each other. And that's why I'm such a huge fan of Peter Seckler, because he has been that force within the Discord. And so many people have published stuff because of what he's done there, and what other people have done in support over there. And so like having like a deadline will help you to make your first comic. In fact, almost all of the comics I've made have been because there's been some sort of deadline that I had to meet or else I wasn't going to be in the book, you know? So that's another thing too. Those are my best tips. I give them away for free. Ralph Contreras, what is up? Thank you for coming by. Hey, Marsh, finally watching a live stream. Well, welcome. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. I've been enjoying all the recent streams while at work, but always in the replays. Hey, I do that too. You know, Artcasters, the one that Scott Cirkland and Joshua Kimball and Corey Kerr are involved in, and the one that Jeff Lafferty and Gibran are involved in, both happen when I am dreaming my little dreams and of sugar plums and Barbies and man cards. Um, you know, so I have to watch them on the replay. Just is what it is. I listen to them at work as well all the time. Dede's live while I'm at work, so I listen to her live stream, and I'm a little bit more active than I probably should be when I'm working. But hey, if nobody tells my boss, then you're my friend. And if you do, well, it doesn't matter. They need me there. So, let's see. Deist, from my experience, Moses. Oh, he's talking. Okay, so but you're still saying something that's kind of relevant to what we're talking about anyway. Comics can be difficult. However, the difficult part is how much time you want to put in to finish it. That's a good consideration. It's true. How much time do you want to put into it? And like this comic, again, I keep bringing it out, but I should just keep this always here because it's like this is like what my whole everything is based on when it comes to YouTube and comics. But, you know, if I had decided like to say, okay, I'm going to not take 2 months or 3 months to make this, I'm going to spend a year on this would be a whole different type of quality. But I actually like this kind better, like probably because it has an energy. It was done quickly. And yeah, there's just like intuition that went into making this, you know, and I just kind of put my love into it. And I like it. I think it came out cool. But it's true. The more time you put into it, sometimes the better it is. Sometimes it's not the better. It's not better for more time. You can overwork stuff. I meet a few people who gave up on their first 6-page comic, and that's unfortunate. But maybe the thing is, one of the most important skills to making comics is patience. It seriously is. And each comic you make, you're building more patience. And the more patience you build, the better your comics will start to be for it. So don't underestimate the long suffering you're going through. That's the biblical term for patience, basically. don't you know uh don't don't disregard that struggle that you're going through when you're making a comic, because that very struggle is going to give you just a little bit more patience on the next comic, and your next comic's going to be a little better. And then that comic, you're going to have conquered a few things, so you can do some things better, but you're going to be struggling with this other part. And that struggle right there is going to give you a little bit more skill and a little bit more patience to make the next comic even better, and so on and so forth. Like that, if there's any secret to making comics, that's definitely one of them that nobody ever talks about hardly. And you heard it here. You heard it here first, maybe? I don't know. But I've said it before, but I haven't said it many times. But it's very true. From my experience, it's very true. Have you ever made a webtoon? I have a webtoon. There's links in the description. And it's just me putting my comics on there. It's not formatted for webtoon. I would like to make a webtoon in the format that Webtoons is made, but there's only so much time in the day after my day job. So we'll see. If I get to a point where I'm making a living doing this awesome stuff with YouTube and art and comics, then maybe I will finally have time to make the most epic webtoon ever invented. Hopefully. We'll see. Let's see. Haven't really worked on the plot yet, but I've only recently just drew the characters. You might be talking to somebody else. I don't know, but sounds awesome, whatever it is you're working on. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. Let's see. I lose track of these conversations too sometimes. It's hard to kind of pay attention to chat and do other things and this and that. We will get to talking about the comic under here, and we will get to talking about style again as well. So, but I'm just going through the chat here. So Sakura says, "What comic that you made inspired you the most in terms of being in the zone for comic ideas?" That's an interesting question. That is a very interesting question. Wow. That is like, I think I have to think about that because that is a thing. Like, that is actually an important thing. And the thing is, the problem is I get knocked out of the zone. And really, when it comes down to it, the idea of being in the zone to make comics, or in this, wait, you're saying what comic that you made inspired you the most in terms of being in the zone for comic ideas? Oh, I mean, that would probably be X-Force One. Like, I thought you were saying for making comics. For comic ideas, I mean, the thing is with X-Force One and Youngblood and New Mutants, the later New Mutants that Liefeld did, Liefeld was just creating characters left and right. Now, of course, a lot of people will say like a lot of them are super derivative from other characters. Absolutely, totally. But so is every character. Batman is derivative of things. Superman is derivative of things. Spider-Man is derivative of things to a certain extent. But, Liefeld, some of his might be more derivative, if I'm honest. But that being said, the fact that there was like every few pages, I felt like with his comics at that time there was a new character introduced or a new team of characters introduced. Actually, I'd say he probably got that from Jack Kirby because Jack Kirby kind of does that too. So when it comes to comic book ideas, like, I mean, it's really never ending. Like, ideas are a dime a dozen, it's actually doing this that's important. Inspiration is in your butt. Get your butt in the chair and start making stuff. Get your computer out and start typing stuff if you're trying to write something. You just got to get there and do it, and the inspiration will come and you'll get in the zone. And like I said, the problem is I have creative ADHD, and so I get kicked out of the zone a lot. So that's a problem. So, but I've done all right so far, I guess. Have you ever included a castle in your comic? No. I don't think so. If I have, it was super. I haven't done anything that involved a castle, but it could be fun, for sure. Are you writing a comic, Sakura? I think he's writing. Sakura, you've asked so many questions. You should write a comic about all the answers. A comic about all the answers that I can. I don't know. I'm just being silly. Michael Hing, Watchmen is fine, but takes superheroes to a dead end. I've never heard anybody say it like that. That's interesting. Good, but would sooner just read something entertaining. I agree. too many pseudo-intellectual Alan Moore wannabes now, in my opinion. Oh boy, you're preaching. You're preaching, buddy. Have you read Miracle Man? I've read some of Kirby Miracle Man's, yeah. Um, really cool comic. Is it? It's that's the one. Yeah, that's the one he had. I have a whole box of just Kirby comics because he's certainly one. He's the only artist that I have a whole box full of their comics. I'm trying to get the Liefeld one going, but there's only so many. There's only a certain era of Liefeld that I really love. The other stuff is cool, but and then I have a lot of artist dedicated stuff, but Kirby's the one that I'd probably dig on the most when it comes down to it. And I've read some of his Miracle Man books. I'm not currently doing a story, but I did months ago. Okay, cool. Comic making isn't my thing. Well, you sure have a lot of questions about it, though. Oh, but I like them. Okay. Wow, we got a lot of we're questioning the questioner now. Landscape and anime characters don't have the talent for consistent creations. Well, I'm sure that's not true, but you know, do your thing, do what you love, live your best life. You should do a comic documentary. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't want to make films, but I love comic documentaries, and the more the merrier. Devonte Edwards. Hey everyone. Hey Gary Hodges. I think I've gotten spoiled doing everything myself. A movie wouldn't let you do that. Yeah, right. Totally. Oh my gosh. Um, it's weird to say spoiled doing everything myself though, because it's just so much work to do it all yourself. But it's pretty. It's also pretty fulfilling, I'd say, as well. So. Hello, everyone. What's up, Icy? Thanks for coming by. Hello, everyone, and good evening, lurking and cooking dinner. Awesome. Don't burn the eggs or the steak or yeah, don't burn anything. Adam's here. What's up, Adam? Thanks for coming by. We're going to show off some Toad Road in a minute. I don't know if you know what that is, but I think it's pretty cool. Let's see. How do you get your YouTube channel monetized? I don't know. There's a million videos out there. It's been a while since I've had to think about that. I think you have to get to like 1,000 subscribers and certain amount of watch time, and I think it was 200,000 hours of watch time or 20,000 or something. It was some crazy number. Maybe it was 600. I don't know. And then you have to wait until they deem you worthy. Well, it's not really that. It's just I don't know what it is. It's the mechanical digital YouTube thing that happens, and eventually you get monetized once you've hit a few thresholds, specific thresholds. I have credibility. Oh, that's cool. Thanks. I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't know. But I always think I'm like everybody else. I always think I'm a fraud, if anything. Not really a fraud, but like that. What's that thing that people have where it's like fraud. I think fraud is like where everybody just feels like they're going to be like exposed one day for not really knowing what they're doing type of thing. There's a term for it. I have that too. I think most people do. How did you get your YouTube channel popular enough to get monetized? I worked really hard, did like 900 videos, like literally 900 videos. Um, Learned about how YouTube works and applied the principles that make it work. Things like SEO helped, but aren't the most important thing, but they do help. Things like having good thumbnails, good titles. I don't always follow those rules. And I have one video that blew the heck up and is getting close to 1 million views, and that is the main thing that's helped it grow. So I just was lucky. I was fortunate to have that happen. So that's how. I mean, I talk about stuff in an honest way. Um, I guess I'm relatively likable, or else I wouldn't have likes. Speaking about that, you should like and subscribe and throw a comment in the actual comment section, because any and all engagement helps the channel. Everybody who is listening. Well, if you don't, that's cool too. Lurkers are also welcome who don't do any take action steps. No, I have no issues with that. That's cool too. But if you'd like to, it would certainly be helpful if you did those things. Let's see. Great advice, dude. Thanks, man. I hope it's helpful. I just always hope it's helpful. Is YouTube your full-time job? No, my full-time job is a warehouse job, and it's not fun, and it hurts. I'd like it to be, though. Live streams are fun. Wish you can do it regardless of viewers. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, is I love doing it. It doesn't make any sense to do it if you don't love doing it, because it's hard to get to the point where you're making a living. Anything that's worth doing, anything that you want to, make an impact with, takes time, takes effort. Nothing is easy that's worth doing. I would do a YouTube live stream of me drawing, to be honest. I would do cool. You should. You should draw a comic with dragons. You want me to draw dragons and castles, don't you? Do you know it's not easy to draw dragons and castles? Maybe I will. Maybe that'll be one of my next things. I have drawn dragons a few times in my life. I'm sure I've drawn a castle when I was like 7 or something. But it would be kind of fun to draw a castle. Like it's a unique world, compared to what I usually draw. I guess it's unique. Let's see. What was your favorite character and setting in a comic you've made? I don't know. I like them all. Corncob Rob in a skate park was kind of cool. Glyph in a rundown subway was cool. Hitchhiker in space was cool. Maybe that was cool because I created a planet that was actually a vehicle. So planet Sanzasteri was that very planet, and the reason why it's called Sanzasteri is because Asteria or something, I think, I can't remember, it might have been Hebrew, Greek, or some other language for star, and sans without stars, because it's a planet that has, or without a star because it's a planet that doesn't orbit a star, because it's not actually a planet, it's a vehicle. So I called it Sanzasteri. So maybe that's my favorite environment. And the characters for that were Seti and Gogin, and I forget what the lady's name was, who was like the villain type character. But yeah, that was a fun one. I'll go with that. Sketchbooks are fun. Yeah, I bet if you can draw like you, they're really fun. But also, yeah, they are fun. I enjoy them. I would need to spend more time in my sketchbook. That's for sure. I like doing it. Sakura, have you made any comic merchandise like T-shirts? I made this. It's not a comic, but created to be creative. I should get them actually printed so people can actually buy them or something. But I made that. I made like 2 or 3 copies of it or something. So that was mostly just a test run. But yeah, I've done that. I've made shirts and merch for the hip hop projects I've worked on at times a long time ago. I've made some merch. I've made buttons. I've made stickers, merch. No, I haven't done a ton in the merch realm, but I would like to. That's definitely something I'm interested in doing. I'm trying to find the buttons. I sent Dede some buttons. They're hard to send though, like with comics, because they have like the pin on the back. But this is the first ever drawing when I created Corncob Rob. This is the first drawing I did, and I put it on a button because it's cheap to print buttons. What's not cool about buttons is my camera doesn't want to focus, but I'm going to make it focus. We're going to force the focus. Let's see. Excuse me. Rachel, if you are here, I don't think you are, but I'm getting ready to do the ASMR. So, oh, look at that. Nice little focus. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's a merch. It's not like I don't really sell it. I just kind of give it away with some things sometimes. Not usually though, because it's hard to pack with things. If I ever do conventions again, I'll probably get rid of them there or something. I don't know. Okay, I think the focus is okay at this point. But yeah, merch is fun. I definitely want to get into the merch game a little more. Have you ever sell your sketchbooks? No, but I plan to. Adam Lord, Marsh, do you have an estimate of how many comic pages you have completed? Seems like a lot of your stuff would work together as a book collection. I kind of want to do that as well. I plan kind of to do that. I just haven't done it yet. um, but I have, let's see, I'm trying to like get a rough estimate. Man, it's really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if I've done 100 comic pages. I'd say it's very possible that I've done probably somewhere between 50 to 100 comic pages. I don't know how many exactly, but some of them are small mini comic stuff, and I might not even have gotten to 50. It's hard. It's really hard to say. Um, Somewhere within the 100 range ish, or like 100 or below. Or 50, maybe more in the 50 range. I don't know. There's definitely enough to make a few issues of comics, whether they're anthologies or full comics, you know. What is your favorite manga style character you made? I don't know that I've ever made a manga style character. Do you write a script for your comic pages that you draw? Yes, but sometimes those scripts, like for something like this, my little mini comic, are not much more than a bullet point list. Sometimes they're an actual full script, but my full script would never be like that super full. Like I'm pretty, especially when I'm drawing it, I don't need it to be very dense, because I know what I want to draw, So half of the writing just goes on into drawing the page. Now, if I'm going to write a script, which I have for somebody else, I'll do a little more detail, a little more description. And if they ask questions, I can always provide more. I think it's better if you write a script in general, but if you want to just get off the ground and get your first comic out there, I think it's okay to just kind of go with a bullet point list of like this page and then maybe some other bullets, like this one has like 5 panels, these things are going to happen, like, or a general idea of each page. Really, you can figure that the rest of it out on the drawing board if you want. Like I've definitely done it like that. There's a big range of what you can do script wise. But right now, I really want to make comics that not only look cool, but also have a really good story. So that really hits home, you know, in, in, in an emotional way, you know, whether that emotional emotion is fear, intrigue, um, sadness or excitement, all those things. I want to hit the emotions. because that's what I like when how, partake in any story, whether it be movies or anything. Um, so I think I'm at the point where I'm ready to level up beyond what I've made so far. Like, I think I mean, I'm going to still do some of these just kind of one-off silly fun things, but I'm kind of gearing up for an actual, like, okay, this is a serious comic, not serious like necessarily, but like a serious effort at, not that the other ones aren't serious, but I don't know, they're a more of an attempt to make something more substantial, I guess. I don't know. I probably am. I think you might understand what I mean. So, what is your favorite manga to read? I like a lot of them. I don't read them very often these days, but I wish I did because they're awesome. But I haven't really been able to get into One Piece. Um, I don't know why. I do like the art. One Punch Man is cool. I dig that. My Hero Academia was cool. Assassination Classroom was cool. I mean, I love Alita Battle Angel. That would be probably my favorite manga. Um, what else was really good? Oh, I like Parasite. Parasite's really cool. There's a bunch of them. If you really want to start simple, just make a 1 to 4 panel comic. I've done that too. I don't think it's up on my website right now, but Ted, there's a comic about I should resurrect Ted. There's a comic about a flower that eats cheeseburgers. So yeah, and I want to make more because he's like a badass flower, and he's not like the other flowers. So yeah, really silly, but I've also made I had this character called Quag, which is actually my first comic. Technically, they were 1 panel comics, and somebody else wrote them, and I created it, and you know, it was kind of just something that went in a newspaper, a newsletter, I should say, and it's nothing to write home about, but it's kind of my first comics technically that were published. You should create your own manga. Manga style. I don't my If I did a manga style, it would probably be a hybrid. You know. Peter says, "Aw, shucks, I feel like Brendan Fraser." Okay, cool. I probably should get that reference, but I don't get every reference. All right, there's a lot of questions here, Sakura. Let's see. Did I get to all of them? The drawing, nothing is impossible. Yep. Learning Japanese is worth your time. I would recommend. So it is worth my time, but there's a lot of things that are worth my time. How old were you when you got into comics? Well, my dad used to share comics with me since I was a kid, because he had all these Superman comics, which I have a bunch of them are still. He gives me like a few more Superman or comics from, some of them are like Justice League and stuff or Batman. Um, but from when he was a kid, he always gives me like a few more of his comic collection every time I see him. And he lives like hours away from me, many like 5 hours away from me. So I don't see him that often. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing actually. But he showed me them when I was little. I wasn't super comic book geek at that point, but eventually he brought me to a comic shop, and on that comic shop shelf, I saw X Force #1, and that was the first comic that I ever picked for myself. So I was probably like, I don't know. I don't really know how old I was. I want to say 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. Did you go to college for drawing comics? No, no. I'd like to, though. Some people here have taken Qbert classes. I'd like to do that as well. Please stop spamming the chat. Oh, sorry. I'll get to the topic here. I actually enjoy like answering the questions. It's not like they're not interesting questions, but it is true. Like I would like to move on. Interesting topics. I would like to try the 1 hour challenge in the future. Oh, that would be so cool. If you do, and I don't know if you do videos, but like in the 1 hour challenge, I do mention like, I mention, you know, you should do it too, like to the audience, and you should make a video. And if you make a video, I'll put it in um, my playlist of 1 hour comic challenges, which I was doing for a while, but nobody's really contacted me that I can remember for a long time about it. And, you know, so I don't know, but I still would though. I'd still put it in the playlist. But if you do, I don't know if you do YouTube videos at all, but if you did, that would be cool. I'd throw it in the playlist. But I would like to see whatever you make. That would be cool. Let's see. Yeah, Dede had a cool idea for Chris to have his his students do it as like an activity, and that would be great. I think that would be awesome, and I'd love to see what they make. Actually, to be honest, they will have all just come back from Independence Day with fresh ideas. Yeah, that sounds cool. Peter says Liefeld was really the last great creator. Oh wow, that is a statement. Hey, I'll take it. I like him. I think he's a great creator. Cable and Deadpool were the last additions to Marvel's lineup that have lasted. Everything else dates back to the 60s and 70s. That is a good point, Peter. That is a really good point. I like that. That's neat. Bull, he seems like a genuine nice guy too from the interviews I have seen. Yeah, the thing about Liefeld is he loves comics like no one else. Like he is a lover of comics, and his love for comics is infectious. So it's seems like a cool dude to me. Let's see. Oh, he's super excited to talk to anyone. I love his interviews too. Absolutely. Let's see. Mr. Miracle is Kirby Oh, so that's what I was thinking of. Miracle Man. You're right. Um, okay. That kind of took on a life of its own. It's really good. Okay. All right. So I'm probably got that wrong then. Only comics I've actually finished making were 24-hour challenge comics. Have you ever done the 24-hour comic challenge? I've talked about that many times, but not that it's totally cool to ask. I'll probably talk about everything many times. I'm cool with that. But I I may one day do 24-hour comic challenge because I didn't realize that you didn't necessarily have to be awake through that 24 hours, because that was the thing I used to always say was, I'm not doing no 24-hour comic challenge. I don't ever want to be awake for 24 hours if I can help it. Like I'm not I like to I'm not good when I'm tired. I'm not a good human being. I mean, I'm sure I'm a fine human being, but it's just I'm not at my best, shall we say that? um, so yeah, no, I've never done it. But when I saw that somebody did it and they slept, they just did, a different kind of comic that they could do in something more like 12 hours or whatever. Yeah, I'd do it in that way. But no, I'm not staying up for 24 hours. Sorry. Imposter syndrome. Yes. Wow. I must be far away because I talked about that before. Dave Hingley said it too. That's exactly what I was trying to say, and I couldn't think of it. All right. Hi there. How are we all? Dave Hingley. Dave Hingley, I showed off one of your mini comics earlier. And Peter, let me know about the question I asked you earlier. If you're not sure, you can ask Evan or you could just text me. But or yeah, I think you have my phone number. You can text me. I don't mind. Um, but yeah, it's just a little technicality that I'd like to know about because I feel bad that it happened. So, but yeah, McCafferty's Cavity by Dave Hingley. I love this. This was a 1 hour, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this was a 1 hour comic challenge comic, right? Your first one, maybe even. And I love it. This is actually one of my one of those 1 hour like this style of comic like that I like a lot. Like, I don't know, like you really pulled it off. Like this was good. And Dave Hingley is crazy like productive and makes a lot of comics. So y'all should check him out. Thanks everyone for giving thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Dede. And please do everyone who hasn't. Have you ever drawn a dinosaur comic on a live stream and sell it before? No. Do you want to buy once again? It's interesting to see how things are evolving here. Sadly, I need to go to bed. Oh, sorry. But thank you for hanging out. But we'll try and catch up another time. Good night, everyone. Well, have a great night's sleep and rest, and thank you for coming by. Let's see what else. Paul Pate, what's up? Paul Pate, if you are interested in coming on the stream, I'm going to send a link out to certain people who are interested. I've said some different people by name. You are one of them. I'd be happy to have you on and chat for a little bit here tonight. Not yet, but pretty soon, if I can get to finish this stuff that I'm going to talk about. Let's see. Gary says, when you do your serious comic, do you already know what sorts of themes or ideas you want to explore? I'm still working that out, Gary. But I know that I want it to be based on what I know. You know, how they say, write what you know. I've recently come to a much greater understanding of what that means than I ever realized. And I think it's going to be a big unlock for me as a writer. So I know I want it to start with what I know and I want to explore. So this is the thing is I'm not somebody who likes to do realism in comics artistically, but I am somebody who's very interested in hitting a realism on an emotional chord. So that's what I plan to attempt doing, you know. That's about all I know at this point. I mean, there's ideas I'm exploring, but it's ambiguous at this point. You know, it's not anything solid. Paul has a cold. Sorry, man. That sucks. That probably means you wouldn't want to come on the show, but whatever, you could do if you want to. I mean, I don't think I'll catch it if you come on the stream. I don't know. I'm not sure how science works. So let's see what else. Got to eat. Be back soon. How dare you? What is up, Ichthy5? That's a cool name. Total excellence. Oh, nice. I like your attitude. I don't know if I have time for a 1 hour challenge. Man, I don't either. Chris says, I have videos on my channel, but not about comics yet. These are coloring videos or art I have painted. I will let you know if I take the challenge. I would be happy to see. Hello, friends and frenemies. Frank, don't be spicy. Oh boy. Let's see. That was his first 1 hour comic challenge. I'm actually finishing up a new one right now. Yes. Awesome. Dave, have you been doing YouTube videos? I need to check out your YouTube channel and see what you've been up to. I know you've been making comics. I need to try a 1 hour comic. Seems very difficult. Maybe I should do it again to revive the 1 hour comic challenge because people seem to have a lot of interest tonight in the chat. And thank you, Christopher Parrish, for hanging out and watching. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I could do a 1 hour challenge comic challenge. This would be crazy, but I could attempt to do a 1 hour comic challenge on one of the live streams. Man, I don't want to. It's almost like thinking about doing the 24-hour comic challenge, because one thing, no matter how crappy you make the comic, it's still like super stressful. Maybe I should do a 1 hour live stream of me doing a 1 hour comic challenge. That might be a fun weekend project. What do you guys think? I know you're going to say you want me to, and then I'm going to be like, why did I ask? I'd love to, Marsh. Okay, where can I send the link? Let's see. First, I know how to share it, but I got to copy this anyways, so I can send. Adam, if you wanted to come on, you could come on too. What else? Frank, you could come on too if you wanted to. I mean, I don't know, I don't know if I want to just invite a million people, but I guess all the invites I've said so far, you can come on. If you're interested. But I'm not showing visuals. I mean, I will if you want to show something, but I'm going to just kind of keep this top-down view because it's kind of fun. I saw somebody else do it, and it's like they're in the room with you, and it's kind of neat. I won't do it for super long, though, because we only do a 4-hour show at the most, and I don't even usually get to 4. I don't even know if I'm going to get to what I'm trying to get to here. So let's try to get to some of this. I'm going to try to go through the rest of the chat quicker. Thank you for letting me know, Dede, just in case I didn't see it. Ralph says, got to bounce. Really enjoy actually being here for a live feed. Going to catch the rest on replay. Thank you for hanging out on the live feed, Ralph, and asking really good questions. And Sakura as well, by the way. You know, I didn't mean to silence you, Sakura. You asked some really good questions, and I actually think it was fun to answer them, like I said before, and I am being honest. I love watching your vids. You kill it every time. Wow, thank you, Christopher. Peter says, I tried the 1-hour challenge and failed. That's hard to believe. Peter, if there's anybody who I think could do it, it would be you. But I spent an extra hour on it and got a pretty good comic. Hey, that's cool. I mean, I failed the first time I did it. And the second time I did it, I succeeded, but it was a pretty crappy comic. So, yeah. You did a 1-hour comic last stream. Kind of did. Kind of, sort of. It's sort of, but not, because I spent, more time the day before. But the comic she's talking about, if you guys don't know, is this one-page comic that is a collaboration with Dede. Dede's link for her YouTube is in the description. You guys should go check her out. 8:30 a.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. She does awesome videos, and they're fun and entertaining, and it's just a good time. So check that out. She's my one and only mod so far, and she does a great job, and she's an awesome support and friendly person, which I really like. So yeah, you guys are talking to each other. All right, cool. I am actually caught up. All right, so now that I'm caught up, okay. Toad Road Comics, Adam Lore. I mean, I just got this in the mail today. I did not read it yet because I just got it in the mail. But I mean, I'm just so happy to see this because Adam Lore, I mean, him and I have talked a lot, like we've talked like in private, we've talked in public, like we've done a lot of talking at times, and I've heard him talk about this and some other projects as well, and I love his passion, and I love the passion of like wanting to do comics the way he wants to do comics and the way he feels like comics should be. It's really cool. And this is one of those things. And he had this idea from when he was younger, and he's finally bringing it into a more publishable, or a more, not publishable, but published forum, aka, publishing it. And Toad Road Comics has a great theme in it, and it's also a little bit risque. He's got family friendly version. This is not that family friendly version. I don't know if there's any visuals. I'll have to take a look. But I mean, I'm not going to show every page. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's cool stuff. So there's not, I don't want to spoil it, but, and I love this back cover. This is like right here, in my opinion, this is the essence of Toad Road Comics right here. Like, it's joy. There's music playing. He's washing dishes, having a great old time. So, meet Ted, the one-legged armless midget, also featuring Wiener Boy. I mean, like I said, this particular one is not for kids, but it still has heart. It still has a great theme in it. I know because I've read some of it, like, because he's shared stuff with me before. And I just know because he's talked about it a lot. So check it out, Toad Road Comics. There is a link in the description, and I could put that link here too. Why not? Here we go. I'm going to put that link here in the chat as well if you want to check it out. And support Adam Laurie. He's making cool comics, man. Like, he's got a second one on the way too. I don't know if it's fully published yet or not, but do it, man. Like, go support the dude. He's got some cool stuff going on, and he's got more down the road. I've heard a lot of his plans for future stuff. So he's got cool, interesting videos on his YouTube, like, worth checking out. Adam Lore for sure. Hey, Adam Lore for sure. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna send a link to Paul Pate, and we'll talk about art style. And I might actually sketch. I'm going to get my sketchbook out. Let me know if there's anything you want me to draw, people. I don't know. I don't really have a plan tonight. So Adam says, thanks, Marsh. Yeah, anytime, man. The second issue has been submitted to be printed, currently being processed. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad you're doing a print on demand, because at the moment I'm not really buying much. So I want to make sure I'll be able to get it at some point later. But maybe I'll splurge. We'll see. Because I dig what you're doing, man. I dig what you're putting down. So where do I send this thing to Paul Pate? Yeah, I really don't know where I should send it, because where should I send the link, Paul? Let me know. Maybe it's okay. You're gonna have to let me know, man. I can't think. My brain is a little tired, I think, right now. So, speaking about that, I should take a sip, and I should get my sketchbook. And what else? This was my notes for the comic Dede and I are collabing on. That's how I figured out how to. This is Ralph earlier. Was it Ralph, right? Contreras or something was asking if I write scripts. This is as deep as the script went for this particular one-page comic. I mean, you're making a one-page comic, you don't really need anything crazy, I just kind of figured out what was said in each panel and knew what I wanted to draw. Did a little thumbnail. Just took some notes. I did a little drawing. This was like the basic first idea I had, so I wanted to just get that out there so I could you know, have that visual, you know. So yeah. All right. We got paper. We got more than enough art supplies. We got a topic. We will have a guest at some point, probably, hopefully. And I will find the tab to where the live stream is so I can see what's going on. Let's see. The second issue has been. All right. He is on IG. Yes. I'll have to go on my phone and see if I can figure that out real quick. Did the live stream stop? I hope not. Let me know, guys. Did the live stream stop? I don't think it did. Let's see. Should be still going. Yeah, no, it looks like it's still going on my end. I could stop it though. Should I stop it? Do you guys want me to keep going? All right, we're going to talk about art style. No, Christopher, still going. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm going to go to IG, see if I can find Mr. Paul. Paul to the Pate. I hope his name is Paul Pate. I'm sure I'm probably subscribed, or it's possible I'm not. Looks like I am friends with him. Hopefully, I'm sure this must be the same Paul Pate. Is it Paul Pate of paulpate.com? Also followed by Christopher Runtzman in Canada and Inkiwell, that's Dede, and Huber Landon, which is Landon Huber. Must be him. So let's message him and see what he wants to do. So there it is in your Instagram, Paul. You are officially invited to the stream. So, let's see. So let's talk about art style. So once again, I had this question up. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to get this question up again. So, Uncanny Master asked, I actually have a question that you could do a video on. So, if you have basically, I'm going to kind of paraphrase. If you have two favorite artists and you'd like to make a hybrid technique, like half of one artist's comic style and half of another artist's comic style, and then merge them, how do you do that, basically? I think is kind of what he was asking. So, again, I have no clue. I kind of touched on it before, but let's just talk about style. Style is something that you do by accident. Style is, there's a lot of things that ways people have kind of approached style. Maybe I'll just make some marks for a little bit. There's a lot of ways that people have approached style and kind of how they do it. And well, I guess to try to answer the specific question, I would say just draw, and again, like, try to think of exercises. Be creative in thinking of exercises that would get you to that goal, for one, because that's what I'm doing right here, and anybody can do that. And that's not just it's not me trying to get out of the question. It's just, don't forget about your own creativity and your own resourcefulness. That's the most important thing. I know it's helped me. Sometimes it's like, you want to go and ask a question about something. And I'm not saying don't ask a question, and I'm glad this person asked that question. But a lot of these things are figure outable by most people, and so the reason why I say don't do that is because don't let trying to find the answer by asking questions stop you from the progress of just trying to do it. You know what I mean? So there's that. I was gonna take a sip of drink too, and we're gonna do some ASMR. Sorry, Rachel. I don't know. Maybe you'll catch it on the replay. Let's get some ASMR work going on. Is there anybody else out there who likes? I didn't do it right. I should have done that. Is there anybody else who likes ASMR? I like ASMR. I mean, how satisfying is that? I don't know. I think it's cool. All right. Back to the show. Back to the feature presentation. Try not to keep my drink on the same table that my computer's on, and art and stuff. Probably a good idea. All right, so let's get Paul Payton here. I bet he's got something to say about style. Paul Pate.
Hey, Marshall. You hear me okay?
What's up? Yeah, I can hear you. I should probably turn my volume down so that it doesn't echo or something.
If I like dive off camera, it's because I'm probably going into a sneezing fit because I have a cold.
So. Oh man, that sucks. First cold of the season, I guess, huh?
Probably, yeah. It's funny. I got a vaccine last week, and that hit me hard. And then I got better, and then I got a cold from my daughter. So,
wow.
Anyway,
so
style, huh? Is that the topic?
What's that?
Style.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some style. I'm gonna do.
You want to talk about style? Check out my hat. Woo woo.
You always got the style, man. You're always wearing that hat. It's like your signature thing.
Yeah.
Looks like you got some style behind you too. Some cool art fiction stuff.
Yeah, I like that movie, so I did some posters for it, or posters. There's
nice
Jimmy and the Wolf.
Such a great movie.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I heard what you were talking about with style. Do you think you have a style? I mean, I think everybody has a style, but what do you think of your style?
I know that I have a style, but it's not very intentional, and I can't really see it like other people can. I don't know that it's a good style, but it's there. It exists. What about you? Do you think you have a style?
I've been told I have a style, and the funny thing is, like, I try to draw different styles, but it ends up looking like me trying to draw. It's my style, trying to imitate somebody, So I generally try to just focus on just drawing the way that I draw, and let my style develop in that way. It's not real intentional, Like I'm not trying to develop a certain style. I just am sort of really leaning into the way I draw something, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that's sorry, I got distracted by the chat, but I think that that is kind of how to do it. I think everybody kind of does that at least, and but I also think that I think it can be intentional as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, really skilled and talented people can probably draw in several different styles, and you can't tell. You can't tell it's the same. I'm kind of imagining, but I can't think of anybody that.
I have to imagine too, because I don't know that I'm a really skilled and talented person. So, but yeah, well, you know what? Maybe I'm trying to think of like what do I want to draw, but like I should just copy something for now, just to kind of get going.
Are you gonna draw like a man card or something? I really enjoy your man card videos.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take at least a day break from man cards. So, But that's a good idea. I'm just gonna draw some random stuff from a random comic book,
There you go.
and then we'll see if it turns into anything more. But I guess it's kind of appropriate though, because like one of the ways to kind of get involved or get to a style is to copy a style.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can do that intentionally, but I think the Marshall style or the Paul Pate style will actually emerge even when you copy,
yeah, yeah. That's what I
somehow.
found is that I try to draw in a style like okay, I like Samurai Jack. I want to try to draw in that style, and then I do 20 drawings. I end up back to drawing the way that I draw, and
I
and
do
the,
too.
yeah, and so I figure, okay, I have, what, maybe I just have my own style, and I'll just stick with that.
Hmm.
I could spend the rest of my life trying to master my style. So why am I, you know, spending time trying to draw like somebody else? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something to that. So the thing is like it's actually a debate for me. Like I feel like the way you're feeling or the way you say, but I also like I always think also of like, you know, for me, obviously, I've said it a million times, the image guys are like a huge influence. And
Hmm.
I think one of the reasons why, especially like McFarlane and Liefeld and eventually also Eric Larson and Sam Keith, which isn't exactly a founder, but a lot of these guys are the one of the biggest reasons why they became popular was because they had a signature style that really like some for some reason resonated with people, and you find yourself wanting to see, oh, I hope he draws this character because I want to see what this character looks like in his style or whatever.
Right.
And I think there's something pretty cool to that.
Yeah, for
And you
sure.
can kind of name any creator that you like and say the same thing usually. I mean, even Jack Kirby, like I'd love to see like a lot of things in Jack Kirby's style. If he were still around, like it'd be cool to see like his take on like some of like newer properties and stuff too, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I was listening, or I was actually talking with Joshua Kemble and Christopher Runciman. I think it was last week.
Hmm.
And, Christopher, well, Josh is just a comics nut, and Christopher,
Hmm.
I think he was a comic store manager for a long time. So they
Hmm.
were just naming these artists left and right that some of them I didn't even know. And so I started looking. I was googling them, and I think Sam Keith was one of the ones that I found. I mean, I'd seen him before, but I just didn't remember. I remember looking at Max when I was younger, and I was like looking at the style of it, and I'm like, oh, I want to draw my next comic in that style. That's just I think that's an artist's inclination. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
feel that way too. And I did that thing I was saying, like I wanted to do the whole full screen thing. So I
well,
hope you
yeah,
don't
no
mind.
problem.
It's no offense,
No, no, no,
me.
no, no, not at all.
Um,
I enjoy watching
but
you draw.
Dede was asking, too. So, um, but yeah, like, yeah, there's that thing too. Like, it's fun to try and draw in other people's styles, and I mean, I have had a lot of fun trying to draw in like the rubber hose style and like the Von Baudet style and Sam Keith style. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like a master study or something.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I've drawn from a lot of artists, Kirby. The other day I
Hmm.
was doing some stuff from oh, what's his name? John Ramota Jr., So yeah, I mean, and I think you can learn a lot from copying somebody as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of those I've done, I don't show them, I don't think. So,
Yeah, I usually don't show them either.
yeah.
Um, they're more for study, so,
Yeah, yeah,
or if I do, I'll say, "Hey, this is a
mhm,
copy. Me
right,
practicing this style or something, because I don't want to take credit for it or something."
right, yeah, 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 I mean, there's a lot of great artists, that yeah, I look at if I had nothing else to do, I would try to emulate their style, but I'm also just
Mhm.
trying to get my projects done that I'm working on, so
Now, I know you're like, so you're not like originally so much from kind of the comic book world. Am I right about that? Like you've done some other things, or have you always been into comics?
no, no, actually, like, comics, I mean, of course, I had, seen and heard of comics, but I was like 20, 21, 22 when one of my roommates had a big giant collection of comics, and I just, took a fresh look at it and was like, "Oh my god, this art is amazing." And because I always thought the art was kind of campy and stuff. And
Hmm.
then I thought, "My goodness, these stories, are wild." But the whole, superhero Marvel stuff never really appealed to me all that much. So independent type comics and graphic novels and things like that was more where drew my attention and when I got into it. So I've done a couple of graphic novels and comics that are just more independent. You know, my graphic novels are like you know uh, noir mysteries. Hard boiled detective stories. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Interesting.
Then I've done some animation too. So
Cool.
yeah, but yeah, I'm not
So,
real versed in the whole Marvel, DC, and I mean, I know plenty, but
right.
especially Marvel, I just don't keep up with it. It's just too much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
I'm
like
not
Batman and the
super.
Punisher. Those are great. But those are
To be
decent.
honest, I often show my ignorance of like comic knowledge, because like I have a lot of comic knowledge, like,
Hmm.
but there's so much that I don't know. I never was like a super avid reader, not like, I mean, I was, but not at the same time. Like I don't know a lot. I haven't read a lot of the classic books and stuff, and
Yeah,
I want to. It's like now I kind of go back to it, but I
yeah,
kind of mostly asked that question too because one thing that I do know that you may or may not be aware of, I don't know, but I know that a lot of comic creators started learning by literally copying. That's how they learned how to
oh
draw
yeah,
comics.
yeah,
Uh, so I think it is, kind of worth it. And I do think that is a good practice. I don't think you should only do that. You should also draw
right.
from life and all this other stuff. But like that is, I think, a helpful technique.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think one of the things that you do by doing that is you can really short circuit a lot of the learning. Like you can just learn quickly, right? Like,
Hmm.
learn how to
Yeah.
draw hands or whatever. Well, if you don't know how to draw hands, just copy, trace some hands. And after a while,
Hmm.
I think a lot quicker than just trying to learn the hard way. You're gonna,
Yeah.
you know,
Actually, that's a great point. And because you said that, and because we're talking about style, I gotta find this book. I bet Dede knows what I'm gonna look for. Um, Where is it? Oh, it's under a bunch of other books, but I can get it. I'll be right back. One sec. I know
okay.
it's still here, but all right. Let's see. I know Dee Dee knows about this book, and probably a lot of people here do. Uh, all right, this book right here. And actually, I think there's another Kickstarter going on right now, or just ended, for
Hmm.
the female version of this.
Oh,
Cognitive
okay. Wow.
Drawing by Jason
Cool.
Brubaker. Have you heard of this, Paul?
No, I've never seen it. I think you need to move.
Okay.
Oh no, you're in the middle. Never mind. I had something covering it up. Yeah, no, I've never seen that book before.
Yep. So this was a Kickstarter before, and Jason Brubaker, if anybody doesn't know, I know a lot of people know who he is, but um, he's done a lot of comics. He used to be in animation. I want to say it was in Pixar. I think he worked or something for a long time, and he had a good career. But then he just has a passion for comics, so he started making his web comic and made a blog, and it got really popular. And then he actually said, you know what, I'm going to do comics for a living, see if I can do it. And he did it, and he was doing pretty well. He had a YouTube channel. He has a YouTube channel, and he's got a bunch of cool comics. I think one of the recent ones was Phobos, which I have. I also have the old school version of Phobos that he made, but he made a new updated one, which is really cool. I got to read. I still haven't read it, but visually it's amazing.
Yeah, I
But
have
this is
one of
how
the
he said
comics.
he learned how to be an artist, and it's really interesting.
Hmm.
Um, so basically, and you don't even need the book really to do it. You can kind of just learn how he does it. He's got this whole thing of like the book is like crafted in a certain way so that it's like a workbook type of thing.
Oh wow.
But basically the idea is there's these steps where you have a reference,
Okay.
and you look at it for a while, and then you don't look at it, and you draw from memory, and
Right.
then the next one you draw it again, but you draw it from looking at it, draw from the reference. Then I haven't even tried. I should try these. Actually, I could do that now. But um, and then after you've drawn from reference, you try to draw it again from memory, and then you draw from the reference, and then you draw from memory, and after, and then he says sleep on it, and then you can
Wow.
do it. But like
Yeah.
after you do that full practice, you'll get to the point. It's like a shortcut way to learn how to draw things.
Wow, that's really neat. Yeah, you
And he says
probably
like
do that
he
for every
kind of
piece of
clears his
anatomy.
mind that way. Sorry, what
Yeah,
was that?
and you probably just do that for every piece of anatomy.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this book does. It kind of goes through a lot of different things like that, and
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even, like I said, I haven't even dug into it. I just got it a million years ago and never did it. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to try it, and looks
Yeah,
like
I
he's
sure
just got a
could use
lot of
that.
exercises within that realm. And again, like this one's pretty cool. Like working on proportions, like this is huge. Like I
Yeah,
almost want to just print this out or just replicate this, because
yeah,
proportions are so much hard. Like that's probably one of the biggest things that I struggle with, that I get
right,
wrong.
right. Well,
So,
what do you think about Marshall? What do you think about like I can I do okay with people, drawing figures and drawing faces, and I'm proficient enough. Of course I can improve tremendously, but I also feel like I'm good enough to tell a story, you know? So
mhm,
what I kind of think is like I like working on projects where I'm, telling a story, whether it be animation or comics, but also in the background improving by periodically drawing from life or doing figure drawing or doing exercises like that book, and
mhm.
always trying to improve, you know what I mean? But I'm not waiting to be at a certain level to to go ahead and produce the stories that I want to produce. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know if what you think about that. I mean, you're obviously quite proficient, but I just think it's never too soon to go ahead and jump into what inspires you, what you want to do, even if you're not
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, and I've heard the argument said before from close friends even, um, not to do that, but
Mhm.
I just don't agree.
Yeah.
Um,
maybe it depends on what you want out of it too. I mean, if you want to make a career at Marvel or something, you probably don't want to put out some subpar work. You want to,
Yeah, and that would probably be kind of about what the argument is, and it's like you want to put your best foot forward, which I think is also good advice.
yeah,
It's not the way I work. Like I like to show all my crappy stuff because to me, when I see other people who I admire's crappy stuff, it makes me feel like, oh, maybe I can do it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're human.
Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me, and that was something I was going to say before, like, or I kind of said before earlier in the show, where it's like the best way to like start filling up sketchbooks is to realize that your sketchbooks are the place where you store all your crappy drawings,
Yeah,
and you just keep doing that until the crappy drawings start to be a little bit less crappy.
yeah,
And and same thing with just making stuff like,
yeah,
I mean, do you think the people who created, the Ninja Turtles waited till they were the best draw artists they could be? Like those first issues are rough.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, if you go to
But
my animation channel on YouTube, I started learning how to animate, and I just posted the videos of me like learning, like doing walk cycles and things, and they're really, really, really amateurish, but that was kind of part of the fun of it, was showing the learning process and the hopefully improving, So that was
yeah,
fun for me.
totally. And I feel like you know, the more you kind of do that, like it just part of it maybe is like, how fragile maybe is your ego. That could be part of it.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's not necessarily everybody's reason. I'm not saying that if you don't want to show your stuff, it's because of ego. It could just be again because you just want to be a professional and you don't feel like you're at that level. I respect that,
Yeah.
but I personally I prescribe to the idea of show everything and everything you just feel like showing at least.
Yeah.
Um And I mean, I get people who want to buy my art, and so I'm as I'm learning, I'm also making progress with other things like a possible career or
Mm.
building an audience or like all this kind of stuff and
Yeah.
just having friends to like not draw, not be lonely in my studio with nobody to talk to like
Yeah.
so I don't know.
No, I sit here and talk tough, but I do remember this was quite a few years ago. I had the chance to meet Bill Plimpton,
Mhm.
the animator, and I was just
Yep.
getting into animation, and I had made a few things, and so we were looking at some of Bill Plimpton's art, and he said, "Well, uh, so what kind of animation do you do?" And he's talking to me, and I'm like, I don't want to show you right now, Yeah, because I didn't feel like I was at a certain level that I wanted to be at, I guess. So I don't know. I guess we all have our standards. If I drew a stick man, just kind of goofing around, I'm not going to show it off. Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Music,
mean,
music's
I'd
pretty
probably
low
be the
down.
same way. Like, I would never have shown Neil Adams my art. I might as well just shoot myself. Like,
Yeah. Well, I told him. I told Bill Plimpton. I was like, yeah, I don't feel like showing Michael Jordan my jump shot right today.
that's a good way to put it.
So
Uh,
yeah, I mean, now I think I would. I've gotten to
mhm.
the level where I feel, I mean, I got a long way to go, but I think I would, you know, wouldn't mind having him look at it and see what he thinks. And
Yeah.
Tell
I
me,
mean, to me, as long as they're not like Neil Adams, basically, like, like to me,
was he a
everybody is on the same level as me. Like, they're all my peers. I don't care if they're well known or not. Like,
uh,
I'm doing art, they're doing art.
yeah.
Come on.
Why was Neil Adams like a egomaniac or something?
Yeah, you could kind of say that. Like somebody was, I mean, I think he was a good guy, he could back up his game or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But like he people have talked a lot about like the experiences of meeting him and stuff. And somebody
Oh.
said recently, it might have been Josh even, I can't remember. Somebody said like, you they would go up to him and he'd be like he'd be like he'd be like, how are you doing, Neil? And he's like, it's great being Neil Adams. Like, wow, well, hey.
Good for you, huh, buddy? Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah, it's I guess they say, never meet your heroes, so maybe sometimes that is true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People will let you down if you try to build them up in your head like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're just humans, right? Um, what do you think about like these artists that talk about how much they had to work and how much drawing they had to do to get to a certain level? Like I did this drawing for 11 years. I worked on drawing hands, and when I finally got the hands, then I moved to the arms and worked on the arms for 3 years, and da da da. And then they just try to make you feel like you never made enough effort in your entire life at anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the pressure too. My thing is like, when I hear my it's always when I hear about somebody who like started finishing comics at a really early age. So, Eric Larson, he just made comics probably out of the womb. Um, and then like Liefeld had a career super early.
Right,
And like even watching cartoonist kayfabe, I know that Ed Brubaker started pretty early, but he also says he feels that way about other people who started even earlier.
right.
And so that kind of gets me.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is like you said earlier, like it kind of depends on what your goals are. Like
Yeah.
I don't really I have zero desire to draw like someone like Jim Lee or some of these people who are really great at anatomy and superhero stuff. Like
Yeah.
I want to draw like fun cartoony. I'm already at a level where I can draw fun enough.
Yeah.
I'm not stopping here, but
Right.
I'm at a relatively satisfiable level where I know if I put my all into it, which I really haven't with any comics yet, put my all into it. I'm
Uh-huh.
just trying to get through the comic so far, but that's
Right.
kind of what I want to do. But if I really put my all into it, I think I could make something pretty cool, and it's not going to be the most amazing thing, but it's going to be something I enjoy, and
Yeah.
I'm happy there, but I do want to progress as well.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it too, Marshall. Yeah, that's a good spot to be.
Yeah.
Um, so what is are you working on a comic now?
Mm, I'm just kind of I keep getting distracted.
Ah, ah,
But yeah, I mean I've been working on trying to write some things here and there. And
okay.
speaking of that, I do want to put the link for your book in here. Um from Amazon. What is it called? Detective something?
Detective Perez. Welcome to Rusted.
Detective Paul's book,
I think
Detective Perez. And that's actually a really affordable price on Amazon. That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, I wanted, people to get it, so I'm not
So
making a
everybody
whole
check that out. Go and look and see what he's created. I mean, from the cover it looks cool. I know Dede showed it off a bit and I thought it was cool. So
Yeah, yeah, that was really nice. Yeah. So,
what's
yeah.
the story about?
It's about Detective Perez who lives in Rust City, and he it's just kind of like a murder mystery, but it's got a little bit of vampires in it too. So
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about it. Somebody, I think you guys said it was almost like maybe oh, what's that movie? The Tarantino movie with the vampires or something?
oh yeah, a
Or the
little bit.
Robert Rodriguez,
What's
really, it's
that,
Robert Rodriguez. But
yeah, what's the name of that movie? I can't think of it right now.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah, a little bit, I guess. Yeah. Yep. So
That's cool
yeah,
though.
yeah. Dede read the back cover. Yeah, I just saw the comment.
So when did you make that? When did that get published?
So that was actually 11 years ago.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And then it took me 2.5 years to make it. But Marshall, I started probably 10 times. And before that 2.5 years,
Yeah.
I started like probably 10 times. I'd get 30 pages in and just toss them. I'd go, oh, this is crap. And I'd throw it away. And finally, I got to the point where I was determined and I got to a certain level of quality that I was, happy with in the story. And so, yeah, it was a long slog. So I have
Yeah.
a second one, and that one took me a year to make.
Okay. But
The
at
second,
that point, was it the same like character and stuff?
yeah, Detective Perez, the Rust City Stabber, and that one's about
So
a serial killer.
So that's the thing that is an advantage, an interesting advantage of continuing the same story and like doing an ongoing type of story because the first time you make it, and this is something I haven't done yet, but I kind of wish I did. Well, no, I have done it with Glyph. But the first time you make it, you have to create everything.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
second time, some of the things you don't have to create. It's because you already did.
yeah. It's kind of fun that way. You have the environment already set up. You have the style and
Hmm.
the characters. Some of them, obviously in the second one, I introduced a lot of different characters, but yeah. So I look forward to doing a third one, and but the third one is going to be called Bad Hombre. So
All right.
I've got the whole kind of idea in my head, and yeah. But I got to write it down, and then it'll probably take a year to make, and haven't started it yet. So yeah, it's
So is that like, do you feel like that's like almost like your big ambition with comics is you just kind of have this one story and you just want to keep working on that, or do you eventually want to try other ideas or?
yeah. No, this isn't my one big thing. I had it in my head I would do three of these Detective Perez graphic novels, and that would be sort of my, I would get to a quality that I felt was, that I was proud of, I guess. I don't know. But
Hmm.
then, I've got others that I'd like to make. It takes me a long time to think of a story. I'm not a real prolific writer, you know.
Hmm.
So,
What's your writing process like? That's always something interesting to me because a lot of people don't talk about writing comics as much usually.
yeah, I have to script it all out. I mean, I script it out and I ask my wife to read it, and make sure it makes sense. And then,
Hmm.
edit it a whole bunch. And yeah, I had it all sort of planned out and written, like almost like a screenplay.
Yeah.
And
That's actually a good technique is getting, especially if, like, I don't know if your wife is a comic reader or not, but like, especially getting like somebody who isn't a comic reader and somebody who's like your family who will tell you, yeah, it sucks. Like,
yeah, yeah, no,
that's
my wife,
actually really good.
she wouldn't be like harsh with me, but um, like, it would be like showing it to my mom. My mom, it's wonderful,
Yeah.
That's more like but my wife's a big reader, and so she
Okay.
knows, like, she's not a comic reader, but she's a reader, so she
Hmm.
knows, the basics of what I may have missed, or things like that.
Yeah.
Then I send it to somebody that I try to send it to somebody that I don't know, that will be brutal with me. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough. But then I want to make sure that it makes sense, and then I'll start working on the drawing and the art and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my process for like creativity is like on a Saturday morning, get hopped up on some real strong coffee and real early and just go to town on the typing it, typing out the
Yeah.
script. And that's been my
That's
best
the
experience so
inspiration is
far.
from your butt technique.
What's that?
That's the inspiration is from your butt technique. Get your butt in the chair.
Yeah. So you just gotta hit it. But something like, my best experience with it is usually like I'm kind of on coffee and sort of hyped up and, I'll get through it. But
Have you ever
anyway,
made a comic? Have you ever made a comic on coffee?
yeah, I don't want to do anything stronger than coffee. So
You remember those or not the commercials that what was that? There was a movie or something where they're like, "Have you ever watched, this or whatever? Have you ever watched it on weed?" I can't remember what that was. That
I
was
don't know that, but I don't know. I'm not a big weed person, but I'm
I'm
afraid of
not
what
either, but it's funny.
might come out of my brain on weed. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my process. But yeah, I think it's at some point you just got to decide, like, yeah, half baked. You just got to decide, hey, this isn't going to be, the great American novel. This is just going to be this is going to be me, what I'm capable of and what I like, and you just do it, And if for me, it was a 240-page graphic novel. I think that's
Mhm.
probably, a bit much for most people. I like Scott Serklin says, start off with something small and but
Yeah,
finish
he
something.
stole that from me.
He did.
I'm just joking.
But like your one-page comic that you did yesterday, was it yesterday or
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good to like have a whole piece of art, a whole thing completed. You started it, you finished it, and you're done, And I think
Mhm.
that's important. So you can do that again. Maybe this time
Yeah.
you want to make 4 pages, or you want to do a 16-page like Adam did,
Mhm.
So yeah, and then Adam completed that, and now he's working. His second one is like think it's more pages, and he's a little bit hyped up about it because he thinks it's a lot better, which I'm sure. The first one's great, but anyway, you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying. So yeah, I think just to start off with something that you can be successful with, is
Yeah, totally. I
is
think that's
important.
the way to go. And I guess kind of why I keep saying something more substantial because I just, like I want to do, I like doing the small stuff, but I've been doing that for a while. So I am looking forward to the day when I can do something, or I know I can do it. But like when I publish something that's like I mean I've never made a single issue comic like as far as publishing it yet because and that's what I grew up on. It's like I can't wait to get to that day, when I've actually published a single issue comic,
Uh-huh.
just because it's like what I like.
Yeah. So do you think that you'll do like your first comic will be one out of several, or is it going to be like a sort of a standalone thing?
um I don't know. Everybody keeps asking me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not sure yet."
Oh, okay. Oh,
We'll have
that's
to
good.
see, I
That's all right.
guess. I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay. Well, no
I
pressure.
mean, I may just publish Corncob Rob, which is, a full, floppy comic length comic. So
Oh,
it's
really?
not certainly not my opus, but hey, why not publish it? It's there, it's created,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It sounds like a fun name.
Yeah, it was gonna be my kind of attempt to do like almost like a punk rock style comic,
Uh-huh.
but then it turned into just like a kind of a just a morality story. Like I don't know, like the bully's trying to get me, bad bully, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. Hmm. Well,
So, but it's still fun. I enjoyed it. When I look back at it, I'm like, hey, cool. I did that in a month and a half. Not bad.
oh, really? Yeah, that's nice too, right? That you don't have to kill yourself on it, you know. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I spent 2.5 years on that first one. That's kind of, that's too much.
Well, that's not, to be honest, that is, I mean, I've been in this, indie comic world for a very long time, and you'd be surprised, that's actually not far from it pretty much is typical. And in fact, I've seen people spend way longer to do that amount of work. So you're
Well, I
actually
mean, I
doing
know
pretty
Josh
good.
said he took like 5 years for one of his, I don't know if it was two stories, but I mean, the level of art on that was just amazing compared to mine's real
Yeah,
basic.
I mean, he's going all out with the large format and stuff with
Yeah,
that, and he's like getting super creative with like the lettering and I
yeah.
mean, he's kind of doing his best like it seems like he's doing his best like Chris Ware attempt, not trying to do what Chris Ware does, but at the same time like that level of like I'm just gonna make the best possible thing I can make type of
I
thing, you
think
know.
he succeeded. I think that book is a masterwork. I mean, it's really
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I
well,
got it over here somewhere.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good one. Yeah, it's tough to make comics, and you were talking about false starts and stuff too. Like you've
Mhm.
tried to make this comic a bunch of times. Like you don't know how many times I've tried to continue making Glyph, like, and I've had so many false starts with other comics. Like the amount of comics I've made, there's at least double that amount of attempts.
Right. So,
So
What is Glyph?
Glyph is it's just like when I made this mini comic, I was just like, well, let me just combine things I like, kind of a superhero story, but with a hip hop type of character. So he's a
Uh-huh.
graffiti artist
Okay.
whose art comes to life, and that's
Right.
kind of like how he fights bad guys.
Ah, gotcha.
And his main nemesis is Tusk, King Tusk, and he's just an elephant character with big tusks. Um, so I don't know.
I like it so far. Sounds
Yeah,
great. I
yeah,
think you should, no pressure, but I think you should,
yeah.
finish.
People seem to like what they've seen. I want to do it. So my problem has been learning how to write. The process of learning. Like I made three mini comics of it, and so there's three stories out there, but they're not to any type of really good writing level slash drawing level, really. So they were just me trying to make comics and learn.
Uh,
But at the same time, I do feel like there's a potential there. So like I've tried for a long time to, all right, how am I going to make this like a real, like an actually good story and all that. And I just keep like creating and recreating the world
yeah,
and all through that process, I've been making other comics and trying to learn how even to write a good story.
yeah,
And I'm getting more to the point. Actually, this whole writing what you know thing has opened a lot for me where I feel like I think that once I get in the groove of doing that, I think I'll be able to go back to Glyph and other things and actually write it because I don't feel like after all these years, I still don't feel like I really even know who Glyph is, but it's because I was learning, I didn't know how to write a story.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think at some point you get to where you're comfortable with your level. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, maybe we do have standards.
I mean, I have standards, but at the same time, I'm still producing because and publishing because to me, like you don't. The only way to learn how to publish things is to publish things. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
so I don't know. That's my thing. And a
cool.
lot of people are very timid. They're afraid to show their work, and it
Yeah,
takes them forever. And I get it. I've been in that mentality, but it's not a mentality that I like.
yeah.
For myself. You know,
Oh, I've never
I've
been.
gotten to a point where I feel actually I start to get itchy, like itchy trigger finger or something when I haven't like published a YouTube video or when I haven't gotten a new comic out or
Uh,
it's like I have to publish. Publishing is my thing.
oh, okay.
So
Good. Well, I appreciate you having me on. It's been fun talking with you.
yeah, absolutely, man. I've seen you on a bunch of people's shows and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's nice to actually chat.
yeah. Likewise. Yeah, you have a real pleasant demeanor about you, Marshall, and
Oh,
I
thanks.
enjoy watching your videos. And I'm always impressed with people that can draw and talk at the same time because I cannot do it. It's just not
The
going to
secret is to not draw well and talk.
happen. Well, you failed.
Yeah.
That's really nice drawing. So, yeah.
Thank you, though.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go try to get some sleep
Yeah,
and
man, get better.
thank you. Yeah, and thanks again. Keep up the great work, and I love your streams, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Have a
Good
good
night.
one.
See you,
Good night.
everybody.
All right, cool. So now we will catch up with the chat here. Sorry, it's hard to catch up with the chat when you're chatting with somebody live, I guess. I got a split. Catch up on this tomorrow. Interesting talk. Thanks, Dave. I'll try to get a little bit more into the style thing as I'm sketching in a minute. Let's see. Jason is very prolific. Cool. Yeah, I mean it's hard to make a comic. Let's see. CB's here. What's up, CB? Hope you're having a good day. It takes making subpar work to eventually get to the point where you start making grade A work. There is no way around it. Compare Jim Lee's work on Punisher, then look at X-Men. Yeah. Wise words, sir. Wise words for sure. Let's see. Do do do. Let's see what else. Posted the link. Apparently, hopefully that link worked because apparently it was so long that it continued in the next text. So maybe it didn't work, but oh well. I don't know what to do about that. Oh yeah, Dede read read the book in her noir voice on the stream. That was funny. Half baked. That's what it was. Rob Hodge. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for watching. Oh, and Adam said it too. John Stewart and Half Baked. Toad Road Comics 2 is 36 pages. Oh, wow. So you're like more than doubling it up. Wow. That's cool. I'm back. What are you, like the Terminator, dude? Please make more Glyph comics. You know, thank you for saying that. And I would like to. It's something that I keep trying to put on the back burner and keeps coming back to the front burner. So Uh, Marsh, do what you want. I always do, Frank. I always do. uh, let's see. I was in class earlier. What are you doing with all this extra life curricular activities? You're supposed to just live in the streams all the time. Come on, Frank. It took me a year and a half for Captain Goggles and Mask Woman. It's hard. It's a lot of work, and that I mean I didn't get that book yet. I'd like to get it, but it looks like it took a lot of time. From what I've seen. There's just a lot in there. So my standalone Mask Woman story was going to be in someone else's book, but they didn't like it, so I put it out as a mini comic. I plan on finishing up the rest of it and releasing it on Amazon KDP. Cool. Sounds like a great plan. That's awesome. Or another print-on-demand place. Knowing how to write a good story never stopped me before. Me neither, Frank. Me neither. But I would like to learn and get better as I go. um, Frank, you are spicy tonight, apparently. You're silly. All right. Cool. So let's talk a little bit more about style. And so, if you're wondering what I'm drawing, I got this book a long time. I don't even remember where I got it, but this is Change Commander Goku. I don't even know what this is. Like, there's a Goku character that in like what Dragon Ball or something like that, or I don't know. I don't know that much about manga, but I don't think it's this at all. I think this is a different thing. I know Antarctic Press used to put out like manga, and this is like I don't know. I think Antarctic Press put out manga from American artists a lot of times, but this is by Ipangi Bang, so that doesn't sound American. Well, I shouldn't say that. There could be any. You could have any kind of name in America, um, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting. But the style, I love the style. It's just so like cartoony. So I'm just like drawing that little guy there, and it's just got this really fun, like kind of cutesy style, but at the same time action packed and huge, huge eyes. Like they're really going for the big eyes. But I don't always like the big eye thing, but they do it in a really cool way. The other thing I was drawing before was this picture. I was sketching this girl there with the big hair. Um, so I don't know, just drawing stuff from a random comic I grabbed. Um, so yeah. But on the topic of kind of style and trying to figure out your style and mashing up hybrid styles, I think really the thing is just practice each style a bunch and like literally just try to see what commonalities they have, see like uh what things are different, and then just it's almost like kind of that Jason Brubaker. That's kind of why I brought that Jason Brubaker thing up. Like draw it like from looking at it, then don't look at it and try to draw it, and then repeat that process, and then do the same for the other style. And what's cool about that is you're gonna bring your own third influence of just how you draw into it. Um, and I don't know, like I can't really think of anything else that would create a hybrid style. You just got to give it a shot, experiment, just keep drawing those styles until you've kind of gotten a really good sense for how they work, and then play around with it yourself and the way you would just draw. Um, and I think that's an approach that could work. And again, I do think that like you're gonna have your own style no matter what. But I think of like Keith Giffen, like he's a guy who has a versatile style. So somebody was saying earlier about like it's good to have a versatile style, and I was saying it is, but that is one approach. There's also the approach of like having a very distinct style and people wanting to see a commission in that style or their own character in your style or something, or whatever, like they want to, people want to see Spider-Man in your style or whatever. And I think that's a very marketable approach, and that might not be your goal, so you don't have to do that. But another marketable approach is having versatile style, especially if you want to be an illustrator, like for commercial illustration and whatnot. because from what I understand, I've heard a lot of people who do work in illustration. I've heard them talk, and a lot of times they'll actually get asked, like they'll get these people, they see your portfolio, and they're like, oh, this person could draw, and then they'll ask you to draw something in a style that is nothing like what you normally draw. And it's like, did you not look at my portfolio? Like, why are you asking me to do that? Like, I don't like I've heard people who all they do is draw like comic type stuff, comic fan art, on their Instagram, and then they get, commissioned to draw somebody's wedding photo, like, and it's just like, um, what made you think that this is what I would want to do? Like, I don't know, like, but I guess they just want an artist to do something sometimes, which, I mean, you can't really fault the layman art person, the layman who wants some art, to really even understand style necessarily. I think it's us artists who really are more focused on that. Um, they just want to be entertained or want a service provided, So I'm not saying that people who don't draw can't understand that concept, but a lot of people might just not think that deeply about it, you know, if they're not already artists. So I think there are intentional methods to creating a style. I've done a little bit of that myself, but kind of like what Paul was saying is, I don't when I do that, it's hard to stick to it. The thing that's easiest to stick to is just drawing the way I draw, and and I think style emerges slowly, like through experimentation and just seeing what you like to do and what you don't like to do, just with lines and with I don't know, just all kinds of different aspects of the aesthetics of drawing and creativity and all that. So it's kind of a tricky thing to try to figure out style, and it's maybe not even something you should focus on too much. I've heard a lot of people say, like, don't think about style, just focus on fundamentals. Your style is just going to come naturally, and I do think there's that argument is valid. But I don't think it has to be that way. I kind of am not dogmatic about this whole style thing in any one way personally. So, um, yeah, I don't know. There might be other things I could say about style, but that's kind of most of my ammo on style, I guess. I'm gonna check the chat in a second. I just want to finish like these crazy big eyes, yo. You know what I mean? The crazy big eyes. So, big eyes for big guys. I don't know what that means. Um, there's so much style going on in this thing, though. Like, holy cow. But I mean, style does influence people. You can see, some people write, wear their influence on their sleeve when it comes to their art, and you can see it, and you can see sometimes in live, time, almost in real time, almost. Like, I remember listening to, I've listened to Tribe Called Quest my whole life, or for a long time, and I remember hearing one record at one point where I was like, oh, Q-Tip is using a little bit of a cadence from another artist, and it's kind of a huge thing in hip hop, not to bite each other's styles or whatever. Like, it's frowned upon in hip hop, which I think is actually kind of silly, like, because everybody bites everybody. You can't even help it. Like, you're influenced by things you're influenced by. So it's kind of a silly thing to make a big deal, but that's what they do, and it is what it is. It's part of how hip hop works. Um, so, anyways, I heard Q-Tip kind of have a bit of a cadence of something else. And it was just for a moment. It wasn't like he was stealing somebody's style, but you could tell like he definitely listened to that artist, because he never rapped like that before, and it was just a little momentary noticeable thing, but so, um, yeah, I don't know, like style influences us too, so I'm gonna check up on the chat here. Frank said he loves Paul, by the way. Dede says, heading out, Marsh. Thanks for an awesome art posted pic on IG. Have a good night, guys. Cool. Thank you for hanging out and modding. I really appreciate it. Dede, have a great night. Keith Harper, hello all. Hello. How you doing? Let's see. What else? I actively broke my style several years ago in just that way. Huh. Interesting. And I, like I said, I think of Keith Giffen, and he's done like he has that kind of like that crazy Lobo like trencher style where it's just like this contour lines, but they're really like almost cubist, but they're messy, and it's really cool. I love that style. But then he draws like kind of a normal way, and then he's done Kirby style comics. He did some OMAC work on a new OMAC, and it looked like Kirby style, and he's really good at the Kirby style kind of thing. It's not fully Kirby. You can see Keith's hand in it. But he's just a guy who has done a bunch of different styles, and luckily for him, they've been pretty appealing generally. So, some people can't stick to a style, but you can still somehow see like a theme, a visual theme in there. You can tell still it's Keith Giffen a lot of times. Same kind of like Frank Miller. You can always tell it's Frank Miller, even though he tries different styles. I'm not sure what my style is. I just look at Keith's art and do the opposite. Frank, you're crazy. Just kidding, Keith. I'm rusty and out of practice. That's okay. I get there. So I've been there. That's for sure. I probably still am there. I just draw. I have no style. Emilio says, thanks for hanging out, Emilio. Yeah, I think that's an okay way to go, for sure. Let's see. Another thing I found useful is researching the artistic influences of artists I admire. It is sort of like an artist family tree. Yeah, that's a fun rabbit hole to go down. I've done that many times. It's really good. I agree. Keith, that Frankenstein you drew looked good. That's what that's what Frank said. That Jeff Lafferty guy has a style I like. I should study him. Yeah, I love Jeff. Jeff is another guy who's kind of versatile. Like Berserkernaut is a lot different than the painting portraits he was doing, which is different than other stuff he's done. But you can still see his hand in there. So he's actually a pretty good example who has a little bit of a variation with style. Emilio, and what I mean, don't give style mind. I gotcha. So cool. I gotta put together some packages, guys. Where is it? I got these 3 cards need to go to people. These 3 man cards, and after I ship these man cards out, I'm left with no man card. So maybe, just maybe next stream, I'll draw at least one more man card that's just for me. So that way I have a man card. And it's probably going to be a drawing of Jack Kirby. So, but yeah, I got these man cards. This one sold. These 2 are giveaways. that I already did in the last stream, and I got to send this out to Dede. So these got to be put together. So I think I am going to cut the stream a tiny bit short because to be honest, I'm getting a little tired, and I want to make sure I get this stuff put together before I go. But please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done those things. It all helps the channel. Thank you everybody for hanging out. We got Hanif with saying something. Art styles like growing a plant. You gonna let it grow, and you can't force a plant to grow a tree overnight. I actually agree. I think that's really true. So on that note, thank you, Hanif. Thank you everybody for hanging out, and I'll talk to you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Have a good one, everybody.